It's college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Capacity crowd on hand at Valley Children's Stadium as the Fresno State Bulldogs host the Boise State Broncos. In the most up-to-date Mountain West Conference standings, you see Fresno State, Boise State, a crowded upper half of the standings, winner tonight inside track for that conference championship game. Well, good evening, everybody. Jordan Kent alongside Dante Whitner. And Dante, the very first thing you said to me when we landed here Thursday was not, hello, how are you? It was, this is a big game. Why is that?
Because there's been no shortage of memorable games in this rivalry between Fresno State and Boise State. In this conference, it goes through these two teams. Every time they meet, there's something on the line. And it's no different tonight. The winner will have the leg up in securing a spot in next month's Mountain West Championship game.
Well, we have some major injury news regarding the Boise State Broncos. For more on that, let's send it to the third member of our team, Brandon Baylor.
Yeah, Jordan, I had a chance to speak to head coach Andy Avalos before the game, and he told me when it comes to Ashton Jeanty, he will not be playing, didn't make the trip here, still dealing with that lower body injury, but he's not the only one missing in this game on the defensive side. Marco Notriani also dealing with a lower body injury, and you guys know this best this time of year. It's all about the next man up mentality, and that is the case for the Broncos on the road.
Thank you, Brandon. That's a lot of production that Boise State is missing. However, they've got some really experienced players stepping in to fill those shoes.
Yes, George Solini bounced back last week after missing 6 games. This is a guy that had 1,200 yards last year rushing and 10 touchdowns on the ground. 12 career 100-yard rushing games. They're going to need that from him tonight.
For Fresno State, their quarterback, Mikey Keene, second game back from injury. He's been sensational as the starter for the Bulldogs. What does he need to do well tonight?
Well, he needs to distribute the ball around evenly like he's done all year long. He needs to connect on the deep ball. He needs to take essentially what the defense gives him and not try to force the issue early. They want to pick up first downs, get to their quick offense, and then really exploit the defense.
Jeff Tedford, obviously, Coach Joey Harrington, Aaron Rodgers knows how to work with his quarterbacks. You see his record, and then Andy Avalos, former linebacker for Boise State, his third season. Really proud of how his young team has been stepping up in the second half of the season as they continue to improve. Boise State won the toss. They choose to defer, so they will kick off first. Crowd continues to fill in here as there was a buzz around town between these two foes as they match up. And Fresno State will go ahead and try to return this. It is Jalen Gill getting out to just past the 20-yard line, where the Bulldogs will take over. Let's take a look at the Papa John's starting lineup. And we start at the quarterback position once again. Mikey Keene and what he has meant. The transfer from UCF, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Coaching staff talked about finding the holes in the zone coverage as teams really try to play to that passing attack.
Yes, Mikey Keene is going to take essentially what the defense gives him. He's not going to force the ball into too much traffic. 19 touchdowns on the year and only 6 interceptions. They want to get up, get this offense going fast, get some easy completions for Mikey Keene early.
Fresno State will start from their own 22-yard line. They'll go to the ground early. Nothing going there. Malik Sherrod stopped, and that was Schramm getting in on the action. And these opening drives mean so much for Fresno State. Of their 8 opening drives this season, 5 touchdowns, 3 3-and-outs. Dante, they're undefeated when they score on their opening drive this season.
It's all or nothing for Jeff Tedford and this offense. When they go down and score on the first possession of the game, they typically win that ball game. When they go 3-and-out, they lose. This is a very important drive for the Fresno State Bulldogs.
2nd and 11. Trips to the field side. Little screen pass to the outside. Gill, that was snuffed out well by the Boise State defense. Let's meet the rest of this Bulldog offense. And how about Eric Brooks, not only the story, but the player he's been this season?
Yes, he's their top receiver. And he's had 3. He's led the wide receiving group with 3 100-yard receiving games this year. He had 9 for 170 yards versus Purdue. They're going to need a lot of that production and explosiveness tonight.
Joined the team as a walk-on in 2018, earned a scholarship in 2021. 3rd and 8, they motioned Sherrod out, empty backfield. Clean pocket. Keene deep down the field, and a difficult catch in traffic made by the talented freshman Jalen Moss. Fresno State picks up the first down.
And that was all Mikey Keene there. Look at the protection up front, allowing him to be comfortable, moving the safety off the spot, and just drilling the ball into Moss. That's what they like to see early, picking up first downs, explosive plays down the field.
Moss now with 42 receptions. They get Boise State to jump. Here's the flag. They're going to take a shot going further down the field. No luck. But we'll get the offsides call coming in here momentarily.
And that's exactly what Mikey Keene is supposed to do. You see the defense jump, you want to attack, knowing that there's no penalty if you throw a potential interception.
Offside, number 10, defense in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
That's Andrew Simpson for Boise State. They're going to have him doing a lot here tonight, they said. They really want to put him in some different spots to be successful. He's going to be key for their defense.
He's very key. They like to blitz him. They like him downhill with TFLs and getting after the quarterback. Yes, he has 4.5 sacks on the season.
1st and 5 for the Boise 49. Play action, Keene to the outside. Clean completion to Jalen Moss on the outside.
There was a lot of room out there on the outside by Clark. They have to respect the speed of Moss. Just an RPO game, getting the linebackers and everybody to suck up, and another easy completion for Mikey Keene on first down.
1st and 10. The tempo picks up. Keene going to try and unload one towards the end zone. Some contact made. No flags, much to the chagrin of this Fresno State crowd. So a physical play deep down the field.
That's Alexander Tubner, number 34, the safety. Did get his head back. I don't think that's a pass interference. He's had issues this year giving up the big play. It's a really solid job right there of not panicking with the ball in the air, looking back, and the ball drops incomplete.
Now, you being a former safety, I don't imagine you calling pass interference on a play like that either.
No. You probably never hear me call pass interference on that.
Here's the handoff. Sherrod bouncing around, cuts it to the outside, getting to the sideline, picks up the first down.
And that's one of his main attributes right there, the ability to make guys miss in the open field. You see right there in the middle, there's nothing, puts his foot in the ground, sidesteps, and picks up the first down with his legs. It's going to be key that Sherrod is able to have production on 1st and 2nd down to keep this Boise State defense off balance.
Remember, Fresno State, it's either a touchdown or a 3-and-out on their opening drive. This is trending towards another touchdown potentially. 1st and 10 from the 25. Keene firing, finds his man. It's the tight end, Trey Watson, for the touchdown. Fourth touchdown reception of the season for Trey Watson, and Mikey Keene surgical on that opening drive.
Trey Watson comes away with his 4th touchdown catch on the season, and that was all Mikey Keene there. The Boise State defense tried to get a little too cute with the disguise going to cover 2, leaving Trey Watson one-on-one with a linebacker. All he had to do was run the seam and bend it behind the linebacker, and Mikey Keene drilled an absolute brilliant football in for the touchdown.
Dylan Lynch for the point after. It is good. So Fresno State sprinting out to a 7-0 lead, their 6th opening drive touchdown of the season, as Mikey Keene, the connection to Trey Watson. Bulldogs up 7. The Bulldogs barking early, 7-0 lead. Mikey Keene to Watson. Break it down here for us, Dante.
We want to take a look at Alexander Tubner here. He's the middle read player in cover 2. That's who Mikey Keene reads and moves with his eyes. You see him look to the right? He's supposed to be reacting to the seam ball. He gets too far over to the left. He can't get back to his position. An easy touchdown for Mikey Keene to Trey Watson.
9 opening drives this season, 6 touchdowns, 3 3-and-outs. Keene, the 25-yard touchdown pass. Fresno State, worth mentioning again, undefeated when they score on their opening drive. Lynch here to kick off for Boise State, that now needs to find an answer on offense, as the Broncos 4-4 on the season. And we'll take this and return the kick. Short little return, as there's excellent coverage on the special teams for Fresno State. Let's take a look at the Papa John's starting lineup. And you start at the quarterback position. Taylon Green, the redshirt sophomore, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but a weapon with his legs. 260 rush yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground this season.
Reminds me of a young Vince Young, 6'6", 220 pounds, has the ability to get outside the defense and create with his legs. They like the quick game with him. They like to throw up the 50-50 ball to where he doesn't have to make too many reads on the internal of the defense.
1st and 10 from their own 18-yard line. Green the handoff. It's Helani the carry. And Helani, don't forget last year, 1,157 yards. That's 6 games of 100-plus yards. A lot of experience coming in. And so at the quarterback position, you are going to have to be ready because Maddox Madsen stepping in. They will use this 2-quarterback system every snap. His numbers on the year, they love him. And 2nd and 3rd down, obvious passing situations. Not afraid to use his legs, though. 2nd and 6. Madsen uncorks one to the sideline, sails it over the head of the intended receiver, McAllister. And speaking of McAllister, as we check out the rest of this Boise State offense, he has been something special for the Broncos this year.
Yeah, and he's going to have to be special tonight. He goes by the name EMAC, is what his teammates call him. He's averaging 20.2 yards per completion. Last week versus Wyoming, he has 7 catches for 160 yards. He's going to have to make a lot of big plays tonight.
3rd and 6. Madsen dropping back, pump fake. He'll tuck it, sprinting to the sideline. As we said before, Madsen not afraid to run, but looks like he's going to be marked short of the 1st down marker.
And I was thinking that maybe that was close to a late hit, and you'll see it there. This is going to be key. The defensive ends for the Fresno State Bulldogs, they have to keep contained no matter who the quarterback is. Madsen will pull the ball down and run it. Green definitely will run it. Right there, they were just able to close in on the ball carrier and get him out of bounds before he picked up the key 1st down.
James Ferguson Reynolds from Geelong, Australia, back to punt. Boise State, the only team in the country that has a punter averaging over 49 yards and a kicker that's made a 49-yard field goal. Low-flying rugby-style kick that's going to take a bounce, picked up on the 1st hop. Here's Gill. He'll scamper out of bounds, where Boise State will take over around their 35-yard line. But so far, it's been a fast start for Fresno State in this matchup of Mountain West Conference powers. Bulldog ball when we come back. (7-0) Fresno State. Dante, let's get to your keys to the game here tonight.
Yeah, the keys to the game for the Boise State Broncos is protect the quarterback. They have the 11th ranked offensive line in the nation, only giving up 8 sacks this year. They need to continue that and don't give up the big play. They've been notorious in the secondary to give up multitude of different big plays. And then for Fresno, you want to have 50 combined runs and completions equals a 92% win percentage for them when they do their analysis. And you have to create 3 turnovers. They have the best turnover margin in the Mountain West with a +11, creating 18 turnovers forced on the season.
Fresno State has not fumbled yet this season. 2nd best turnover margin in all of college football. 1st and 10 as they take over. Another deep shot down the field. It's Gill, but he drops the football. Had nothing but green grass in front of him. And Mikey Keene almost connected on another huge play.
And Jalen Gill is sick. The former Boston College, Ohio State Buckeye had the big play in his hands. You just have to squeeze that. They need that explosive play right there, but Gill did everything properly except for haul in the football. He's probably kicking himself right now, definitely.
Brings up 2nd and 10 now. We saw another clean pocket for Keene. Keene the pitch. Here's Sherrod diving head first. And let's go ahead and send it to New York with Brent Stover with an update.
Jordan, a lot of points in this shootout. Michael Penix on a short touchdown run. Quarterback sneak for Washington. 7-play, 75-yard drive. 3:09 in the 3rd. Washington leads at USC 42-35. Guys.
Thanks, Brent. A lot of scoring in the Coliseum here this evening, and Fresno State seems to be on one of those torrid paces as well, too. However, it is 3rd and 2, empty backfield for Keene and company. Brooks gets the motion start. Keene, plenty of time, finds Watson. Watson rumbling, finally brought down at the 42-yard line.
Watson wasn't his first read there. His first read.
Keene over the top. Nearly picked off by the Boise State secondary. That was Alexander Tubner that had a beat on it. Let's go ahead and meet the Boise State. Keene over the top. Nearly picked off by the Boise State secondary. That was Alexander Tubner that had a beat on it. Let's go ahead and meet the Boise State defense and Ahmed Hassanin, special player for Boise State.
Yes, he's only Division I football player from Egypt, and he's primarily going to play defensive end this week. They've had a number of injuries on the front, and they're going to ask him to put on his Superman cape and go out and rush the quarterback from the edge. He has 6 sacks on the season, 9 TFLs. They're going to look for him to be disruptive tonight.
Spencer Danielson, the co-defensive coordinator, actually played with Ahmed's brother, and that's how we learned more about him. His brother, though, was 6 inches shorter than Ahmed. Here is Keene, little dart, dancing around with it. Finally, lowering the shoulder, taking the hit. That's the local guy, Magdalena, caught his first touchdown at home last week.
And this is just easy completions off of the RPO, getting the ball to Magdalena and allowing him to get yards after the catch. This is his forte, catching the football, getting upfield north and south, and picking up first downs.
Delena, the senior from Fresno, 26 catches, 286 yards on the season. Another first down for the Bulldogs. Moss in motion. Keene all sorts of time, trying to go up top to Gill. Well defended, and Tubner's been a busy man in the secondary already.
He has, and he's really good with his eyes and being where he's supposed to be, but Mikey Keene missed one there. They had Eric Brooks, who aligned in a slot, was running away from the leverage of the inside corner playing man-to-man, and he didn't look his way. Would have been another touchdown, an easy touchdown to Eric Brooks.
It's interesting. You talk to the Fresno State offensive coaches. They said they want to try and establish the run, but we've seen several passes on first down now.
Yeah, and when they have the ability to run on first and second down, now you have your entire playbook open, and you can push some of those explosives downfield.
2nd and 10. This time they do hand it off, and Sherrod is stuffed. And that is Andrew Simpson getting in there to make the stop.
Michael Callahan along with Andrew Simpson, and you see it, he's best when he's coming downhill, reading it, not false stepping. Another great play from Simpson in the backfield of the Fresno State Bulldogs.
3rd and 11. Fresno State 2 for 2 on 3rd down here tonight. You saw some looking pretty good the last couple of games, but drop back, crossing across the middle is Delena, but he is dragged down. Excellent coverage by Oladipo. And now what do you think here? 4th down, is this a situation where you trust your kicker's leg or go for it?
I think this is where you take the points. You're in field goal range. You've stalled your drive here. It's all about getting points in these type of rivalry games early in the game to try to put the Boise State Broncos away as quick as possible.
48-yard attempt coming up for Dylan Lynch. His long for the season is 52, which was the longest kick in Fresno State history since 2010. 15 of 20 on the year. Carson King to hold. Snap good, hold good. Here is Lynch. And Lynch splits the uprights, and Fresno State takes a 2-score lead. So Mikey Keene, clean pocket, guiding his team to an early 10-0 lead in this Mountain West showdown. 2013 Mountain West Championship game featured Derek Carr leading the Fresno State Bulldogs over the Utah State Aggies. It was the first championship game in Mountain West history. Devontae Adams getting in on the action as well, too. And Why did we show you that? Well, tomorrow we can't wait for Week 9 of the NFL on CBS, featuring an outstanding interconference matchup between the Seahawks and Ravens. All hail tomorrow. The NFL is on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. You can see Derek Carr and the Saints playing host to the Bears as we get set for another busy Sunday in the NFL, Dante.
It's going to be an incredibly busy Sunday. Looking for the 49ers to try to bounce back versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll see how they do. Brock Purdy has thrown a lot of interceptions over the last few ball games, and we're going to see if they can get back.
Yeah, not as much luster on the goal for the 49ers. 3 straight losses. Caden Dudley back to receive, and he'll take it. Dudley trying to go right up the middle, has a little seam, and Dudley tackled right near the 29-yard line. Well, this matchup between Fresno State and Boise State has a name to it, and for more on that, let's send it back down to Brandon Baylor.
Yeah, Jordan, this was a little bit more than the standing. It's also that rivalry that dates back to 2005 with this legendary Milk Kid. By the way, Fresno State, they have not possessed this trophy since 2017. When I spoke to head coach Tedford earlier in the week, he said, you know what, I'm aware of it. I don't pay attention to the outside noise, but I guarantee you he wants us to stay here tonight after this matchup.
All right, the milk can up for grabs after this one. Carry on first down for Boise State. That goes to Helani, and we want to take this moment to apologize. Our graphics are currently down, but we'll keep you updated on important numbers and facts and figures. Right now it is 10-0 Fresno State after the last field goal. And keep in mind for Boise State, now Ethan Card, a backup offensive lineman, going to wear 19 at the tight end position due to the injuries they have at that spot. 2nd and 4. Madsen back in the game, trying to go over the top, but overshoots his man. That was Tyler Crow escaping out of the backfield.
And he just missed the leak out. That was the play that they probably drawn up all week, and they expected it to work. You see Tyler Crow played possum there. He acted like he was going to stay in and block and end up sneaking up the sideline. That's going to be one that Madsen wish he had back. You just have to lay it up there in the easy touch and allow him to run under it.
3rd and 4 for Boise State. 6:47 left here in the opening quarter. They trail 10-0. Empty backfield. Madsen able to find Eric McAllister, and a much-needed first down for Boise State.
That's a really good job of McAllister attacking the inside shoulder of the corner there and giving Madsen a nice target to throw to. What they did was they went 4-by-1 to one side, shifting the defense, and that was the only one-on-one they had on the field. Great job of figuring it out.
There you see Ethan Card, 19 jersey, but 73 on his helmet. That's an interesting anecdote to keep in mind. The handoff to Helani on 1st and 10. Helani muscling his way near midfield. And now Boise State trying to establish that run on first down.
And they are establishing the run on first down. And you see Helani is starting to get that lather going. He's starting to get his rhythm. Really good job of really not, there was not supposed to be nothing there with all the penetration front side. He kept it to the outside, put his foot in the ground, and kept it tight, picking up a significant amount, 8 yards on first down.
2nd and 1 right at midfield. 5:45 left in the first quarter. Taylon Green back in at quarterback. This time the handoff to Caden Dudley. They love to use him in the jet sweep as Dudley. Big time run for him as he crashes out of bounds.
With Ashton Jeanty being out and accounting for 40% of the Broncos' offensive production, they talked to us about Dudley coming in, doing some of these sweep plays, some bubble plays, getting to the outside to try to make up for some of that production that they're losing without Jeanty being in there. Great job getting to the edge of the defense and picking up another first down. He's explosive. 18
yards on the game. 1st and 10 for Boise State on the 32-yard line of Fresno State. Madsen back in the game. Screen pass outside. Here's McAllister diving forward as the clock now crosses the 5-minute mark left in the first quarter.
And there, Boise State did a late motion to the outside. They had numbers on the defense, but Maurice Norris did a really good job of getting off the block and making the sure tackle on the sideline.
Taylon Green back into the game. There's a look at Maurice Norris, another Fresno native. 6 PBUs that lead the team, 5.5 tackles for a loss. 2nd and 6 on the Fresno State 28-yard line. 4:31 left in this first quarter. Green Design QB keeper. He lunges forward and takes the shot as coming in was Dean Clark.
Yeah, and he's not happy with that. You see him get up. Let's make sure that it wasn't targeting. You'll see Dean Clark coming up. No, you see he intentionally turns his shoulders, the right shoulder pad to the side of the helmet of Green. Let's check it out. Yeah, he's sliding a little bit too late, though. If you're going to give yourself up as a quarterback, you have to go down a couple yards before you get so close to the defender.
And that's what the Fresno State defensive coach has said. It's hard trying to tackle Green because he's not your typical quarterback that's going to give himself up early. 1st and 10. Madsen in the game, looking for the end zone, knocked out of his hands. How about the play by Norris Jr.?
And I tell you what, McAllister ran a brilliant route on that. He was open initially. I think Madsen really took a little too long to throw this football, and he should really put it a little bit closer towards the pylon. And that's a great job from Norris of not giving up on the play, not panicking with the ball in the air, and playing through McAllister's hands. You see it right there. If he's 1 second too early or 1 second too late, it could be a penalty or potentially a touchdown. Great job of not panicking.
Now 7 PBUs on the season for Norris Jr. Madsen, the handoff. Palani shakes the would-be tackler. But the rest of the Fresno State defense there to collapse on the action. That was Alzillian Hamilton mucking things up.
Those are the type of hard-nosed runs you're going to get in a rivalry game like this matchup. You see Hulani taking on Lavelle Bailey, the trusted linebacker of the Fresno State Bulldogs, and he just runs through the contact. That's what rivalry football is. And Hulani, they're just glad to have him back for his production.
3rd and 8 for Maddox Madsen and his Boise State offense.
A lot of defenders near that line of scrimmage. They might have to get the ball out quickly.
4-man rush. Madsen has to just take the hit. Barging through there, Devo Bridges.
And that's their trusted defensive end, senior. He leads the defensive line in tackles and TFLs. And you see him come scot-free down the middle of the defense. And that's a scary sight, I tell you, Jordan. When you see Devo Bridges coming at you, you probably should just go down and concede.
That is a bridge I will never try to cross right there. And so the preseason All-Mountain West Conference player, Bridges, with the huge sack. Now 4th and 16. Here comes the kick from Jonah Dalmas. Dalmas right through the middle, and that ties the career all-time field goals made record in Boise State history with Kyle Brotzman. And Dalmas, you see just the sensational career he's had, able to put Boise State on the board. 10-3 Fresno State in the first here still.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef? By Verizon. Get the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro on us. And by Geico. For all your insurance needs, it's easy to Geico.
These teams have met in 4 Mountain West Conference Championship games. They have split all 4 of them. This is the 26th all-time meeting. You see Boise State leads at 17-8. 12th meeting in Fresno. Broncos lead 6-5. But these two teams, they're used to being at the top of this conference standings. And that's why, as you said at the top, this game has so much gravity to it.
And there's no shortage of memorable games, memorable moments. And tonight won't be any different.
So a touchback for Fresno State, and Fresno State has had a lot of big plays already in this game, and that's something Boise State was trying to put a lid on.
And we figured that they'd come out and throw the football and throw it a lot. You see it right there. Jalen Moss over the middle, and then the absolute dime to Trey Watson in the end zone. And this is the biggest miss of the night right here to Jalen Gill. He has to pull that in, and if he keeps his feet, he might be dancing in the end zone.
Points on their first 2 drives of this game. 1st and 10 for Fresno State from their own 25-yard line. See, averaging 7.2 points per play already. And they're not afraid about taking some of these shots here. Keene, quick play action to the outside. Josiah Freeman, first time we've been able to call his name as he scampers up the field for a first down. Gain of 12.
And that's the chess match of the night. You see the Boise State defense loaded the box up there, trying to force them to throw the football, and they throw it on first down. Another successful throw on first down.
The first down tempo showing its face. But now a check at the line of scrimmage, and Boise State will adjust accordingly. Offensive coordinator Pat McCann talked about throwing over the coverage that they've been facing traditionally as they go to the ground here, and Sherrod with a nice carry.
And they talk so much about having an edge to the defense, and you'll see it right there. Jalen Clark, number 6, had the edge to the defense in cover 2, missed the tackle. Sherrod is doing a really good job of making the first defender mix and picking up 8 yards on first down.
5 carries, 26 yards for Sherrod. They go to him again, but he is stopped short. Sheldon Newton getting him in his grasp.
And that's good defensive tackle play at its finest. You get on and off of blocks. You see him disregard the center. That's called a shed. And then mix the tackle in the backfield. 31 did a really good job of coming off the edge and keeping it tight. You're supposed to close to the hip of the tight end so that there's no air for that B gap. Those two guys converging, putting them in a 3rd and short here.
Is this possible 4-down territory with how well you've been moving the ball?
I don't think so. You're not even at the 50-yard line yet. If you don't get it here, I think you go ahead and punt it.
3rd and 2, 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Lofts one up and over the head of Elijah Gilliam. So now you said it. You think they're going to punt.
And here comes the punting team.
So Boise State gets their first defensive stop of the game. And after putting up points on the board, that's the way you try and take momentum back on the road. So Stephon Cobbs, 6th-year receiver from Fort Worth, Texas, will be the returner. Carson King from Livermore, California, 41.1 average to boot it. Fair catch called by Cobbs right at about the 10-yard line. Well, they've been on the field a while, but let's go ahead and meet them for the first time. The Fresno State defense, this balanced defense that has helped them to a 7-1 record. And really, it's Lavelle Bailey that's been the biggest playmaker for them.
Yeah, and he's their most experienced player with over 50 games played in his career as a Bulldog. And he's called game on 3 separate occasions this year. The PBU versus Purdue to end the game, the interception versus Eastern Washington, and then the interception versus UNLV. He's going to need to make a lot of those plays tonight, get his hands on some football, and really get the ball back for the offense in great field position. 1st and 10 for Boise State.
Talon Green in at quarterback. The handoff. Helani found a hole. Helani spinning and pounding his way near the 28-yard line.
That had to be a mental error from the Broncos defense. You'll see Lavelle blitzing on the right. There's nobody to cover the inside gaps to the left. Helani's going to take that all day and take the easy first down.
We'll see if Boise State will let the clock wind down. It sounds like they will go ahead and wait for the first quarter to end. That's the end of the first quarter. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. A terrific game underway here in Fresno. Start of the second quarter here in Fresno, 10-3 advantage Fresno State. And let's go ahead and check out some summaries and stats from the first quarter here. And what's been interesting is the big play explosions that we've seen from Fresno State on offense. Some impressive numbers early on.
And what they're doing is they're doing what they do best. They're pushing the ball downfield. They're threatening the secondary. They've given up consistent explosive plays all throughout the year.
1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line. Talon Green, the handoff. Helani stopped in the backfield. Johnny Hudson Jr. Well, just moments ago, Brandon Baylor caught up with Boise State head coach Andy Avalos.
Coach Andy Avalos and Coach Fresno State showing that they're not scared to air it out a little bit. How do you combat that moving forward?
Yeah, we got to be able to handle the tempo they're trying to use it with so that we can get ourselves in position. We got to do a better job getting some pressure on the quarterback. He has too much time back there. And so being able to apply pressure on the quarterback, switch those windows up, get to some calls, even though they're in tempo, is going to help us a lot there.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Dante, you obviously look at coach and highlighting the fact that Keene has a lot of time in that backfield to get comfortable. It's Madsen in at quarterback, swings it to the outside. Dudley, the catch and run, brings up a manageable 3rd down.
And that was a really good block from number 81, the tight end on the outside, to spring Dudley free. You see, this is what Genty would have been doing. So he's going to, you see Azilian Hamilton right there, 81, a great job of not holding, driving him past where he wants to go, and then Dudley picking up the yards, doing his best Genty impersonation.
3rd and 4, Madsen, empty backfield. Madsen, quick trigger. Another catch made in traffic by Eric McAllister.
And that was a great plant and drive by the cornerback, Carlton Johnson. Just a better route and completion from Madsen. And you see it, just coming off the ball slow, lulling the corner to sleep, and finding that inside area in between the linebacker and corner. And it makes it a lot easier when you get an accurate football. McAllister has been doing this over and consistent all year long.
12 contested catches on the season. That's tops in the nation. Taylon Green back in at quarterback, and we have a whistle. No flag at all, as they look to reset the play clock here. And so now Taylon Green in the backfield with Helani. Helani, 6 carries, 38 yards. Some play action. Green going deep down the field, trying to find McAllister, and that is a flag coming in for PI.
And that's that man again, McAllister. They had tight end number 81 coming across, but he said, no, I'm going to go for the big one. And you see Norris, he panicked this time with the ball in the air.
Pass interference, number 7, defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, 1st down.
And really, when you're in that position as a corner, you really just want to run and get to the upfield shoulder. And if the ball comes before you get there, you do what he did earlier. You play through the receiver's hands. You can't grab, you can't impede his progress and bump him off of the ability to go up and get the reception there. A great job of McAllister slowing down and forcing him into that pass interference.
So the PI moves it into Fresno State territory. Boise State will take over on the 45-yard line. Green in at quarterback. The handoff, Helani spinning, juking, and crashing down at the 38-yard line. Gain of 7.
And look at this move, this spin move on Malachi Langley. Whoop! Where did he go? Where did he go? You see Helani is starting to get that lather going, that rhythm. His ability to make guys miss, the first guy miss, has been critical for this offense.
It's 2nd and 3. The veteran leadership of Helani. We talked to Avalos. He said it means so much for this young team on the road in this environment. Green, pocket collapsing, uses the legs, dashing to the outside, but stonewalled short. Flying in there for Fresno State was Charles Remlinger.
And you know what I like about Green there? He didn't try to force the ball into coverage. He saw that it wasn't there. He tucked the football. He put it away. And the finish on the sideline. That shows you this is a rivalry game. That's a 6'6", 220-pound quarterback taking on a linebacker on the edge. I like it.
3rd and 2, ball at the 37. You have a running quarterback. Begs the question. 4-down territory here for the Broncos. So timeout on the field for Fresno State. It would be a 54-yard field goal from here if Boise State doesn't gain any additional yardage. Keep in mind, Dalmas, his long for the season, 56.
And when I look at the field positioning right now, I wonder if this is 4-down territory. I wonder if this 3rd and 2, if you pick up half of it, do you go for it on 4th and 1? I would think so. I think that in a rivalry game like this, you have to match what Fresno State is doing on the opposite side of the ball. So I would say this is 4-down territory.
Dalmas's next kick will set the new career field goals made record for Boise State. As we said before, long of 56. This would be 54 from here if they don't gain any additional yardage. And you wonder, you're on the road, every point matters. Your defense has been able to generate a few stops after taking the opening blitz.
but I still don't feel comfortable with my defense. You see how many of the Fresno State wide receivers are getting behind the defense? They're just not connecting on the deep ball right now. I don't know if I can really trust that. I have to go ahead and match what Fresno State's offense is doing.
3rd and 2. Green in at quarterback. The handoff. They give it to their veteran back, Halani, lunging forward. We'll see where they mark it. Might be short.
Whenever these short yardage plays transpire, it's very difficult to really gauge where they're going to spot it. And you see, they spotted for a first down. Halani did just enough to get the first down there.
So Halani able to pick up the first down. And some breathing room for this Boise State offense, and now they make a line change coming in here. Let's take one more look at this.
Yeah, you see the internal push from the offensive line of the Broncos, and right there is just mano-a-mano, strength on strength, knocking a guy back and allowing Halani to get his shoulder pads down to pick up the 2 yards.
1st and 10 for Green and company. The handoff again. Halani gets to the outside. Halani, just the patience and vision that we're seeing from him.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job of setting up the run gaps. You see Remlinger right there, number 50. He can't create that gap like that. You have to stay on the line of scrimmage, be good with your outside arm, and make Halani bounce it outside. When you allow those inside gaps to open like that, Halani is a 6-year senior who's seen every front. He's going to find that hole there. You can't do that in run defense.
Another first down, 67 yards on this current drive, 59 yards on the night for Halani on the ground. They go to Halani again. This time, nothing going. Jason Jacks had a beat on it.
And he did a really good job of doing what Remlinger didn't do the previous play. And you'll see him here at the top. Jason Jacks, number 97, does a really good job of standing up 77, Casey discarding him and then going low and making the tackle. That's textbook right there.
Excellent one-on-one open field play by Jacks. 2nd and 9. Green, the keeper, he can't escape either, and this defensive front for Fresno State flexing their muscle as it's Isaiah Johnson making the tackle.
Isaiah Johnson did a really good job of what we talk about, playing the quarterback on the edge, not getting too nosy, getting off a block, and then the hardest part is getting Green on the ground. And you'll take a look at it here. He was supposed to go to the inside gap. He keeps his outside arm free and does a really good job of tackling a mobile quarterback. It's a great job.
3rd and 10. Maddox Madsen now in the game. Boise State feels he's very comfortable in these situations. Madsen throws the interception. That is picked off. And once again, this very opportunistic defense for Fresno State. Phoenix Jackson, they said he was going to be spying the quarterback all night long.
Yeah, that's what that DC Kevin Coyle said. He's going to be spying the quarterback. Particularly, he was looking for Green, but there as the spy, reading the quarterback's eyes, he goes up and makes a game-changing play.
Jackson with the interception. Fresno State now plus 12 turnover margin on the year. 3rd pick of the year for Madsen. Well, let's test your knowledge with tonight's AFLAC trivia. AFLAC. Boise State and Fresno State have played against one another in the Mountain West title game on 4 different occasions. Who are the 2 FBS teams that have played each other the most times in a conference championship?
If I had to take a guess, I would say Alabama, Tennessee. Maybe?
I think you wouldn't go wrong staying in the SEC. There's kind of an inclination I have to that. But Fresno State, after the turnover, they will take over, and they decide to go to the ground on first down. That is Elijah Gilliam. But Dante, let's go ahead and take a look back at the Phoenix Rising here on this interception.
Yeah, you'll see Phoenix right here, Phoenix Jackson right here in the middle. And talking to DC Kevin Coyle, he told us that he's going to be the spy all night. And what he did first was take away the crossing route there to McAllister, reading the quarterback's eyes, and then the hardest part is catching the football as a defensive back linebacker. Great job of Phoenix Jackson of coming away with the interception.
Flag on the play, free play for offsides, and it's Delana tiptoeing the sideline. And they're going to rule that a completion. We'll see. The officials having a conference there. The line judge was on it.
The ruling on the field is completed pass for a first down.
And I tell you what, that's great concentration from Magdalena there. And that's a great throw from Mikey King. Catching the
Offside,
football.
number 90, defense in the neutral zone off the snap. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Catching the football in the same instance that the right foot comes down inbounds and securing it, not juggling. Great concentration and great dime of Mikey King, putting it right there on the
The
sideline.
ruling on the field of completed pass is under further review.
And I think that's the question. Did the right toe go out of bounds as he was making that catch? You saw that foot try to sneak in and stay in the green. But
I'd like to take a closer look at that.
Yeah.
I know we saw it from the other angle, from this side, where you can see the inside of his right foot. He has the football there, right leg. You can't really tell with that angle. It looks like the right foot is in. You would have to see the outside edge of the right foot to tell if it's on the white. But we don't have that angle there to be able to see it. And it was called a catch on the field.
And that's the important call, because from that angle, you can't tell clearly. I'm trying to see if any pellets come up or anything like that, but might get a better look from this angle.
And you really can't see from that angle because Clark's lower body is blocking the camera view. Let's see it from this angle here. It's
Same
almost
thing. His foot's blocked.
Yeah, it's like the perfect block out to see if he came down in bounds. But they called it a catch on the field, and if the referees see what we see, they have to keep it a catch on the field.
And you almost wonder if the heel struck first before the rest of the foot stepped out of bounds as well.
I tell you, I have so much respect for a lot of these refs. The game moves so fast, and they have to make those calls in an instant second.
And again, it was offside, so if it is ruled incomplete, they get the 5-yard penalty and a replay of the down. So not a whole lot to lose for Fresno State, but you would love that completion and that yardage. As we said before, Magdalena from Fresno, the senior. His older brother played here. His younger brother's on the roster. He scored his first touchdown at home last week against UNLV, and you can only imagine the feeling he had. Here's the call.
After review, the ruling on the field of completed pass stands. First down.
So 28-yard completion to Delana is good. The free play with the flag for offsides flying in, and Fresno State, here we go, moving into Boise State territory once again.
And the Bronco defense was caught right there playing man-to-man on the slide. And that's the hardest route to cover versus any man coverage, because the nickel is inside leverage in the corner. The wide receiver that's in the slide just has to run to a spot.
1st and 10 for Fresno State, trying to score on a drive that was created by the interception by Phoenix Jackson. Play action. Keene going up top once again, and a little fight on the sideline there, and that is well defended on the outside by Boise State, and a little jawing back and forth as McCoy was on the coverage.
And that's what you like to see from this Broncos secondary. Not panicking with the ball in the air, staying on top of the route, not grabbing or tugging. Great job of staying disciplined, keeping your eyes on your work, and forcing the incomplete pass there.
2nd and 10 from the Boise 36-yard line, and Andy Avalos was saying Keene hasn't really felt much pressure in the pocket here tonight. Keene again, all sorts of time. Keene rolling to his right, throwing a dart, and the completion, but knocked loose. The hammer laid by Tubner.
And I tell you what, as a former safety, I love this play.
You lit up.
You see it, it's all legal. You see the whiplash hitting him in the lower back. Magdalena feels like he should have caught this, but Tubner was coming. And he was coming with ill intentions. That's a great job of lowering the shoulder, going right through the back with the right shoulder pad and knocking the football out, causing the PBU. It's not a completion until it's a completion.
That is some treatment on Monday, I'll tell you that much, for Delana. Taking a shot, able to get back on his feet, though. 3rd and 10. Fresno State still attacking the crossing route caught. Josiah Freeman will move the chains.
And Josiah's another one of those big receivers, 6'3", 193-pound, redshirt sophomore, averaging 12 yards per completion, and you see it right there, just running away from the leverage of the outside corner. Mikey Keene doing a good job of moving the inside linebackers, and that was one of the easiest completions when in the middle of the defense tonight.
1st and 10, and this is a receiving core that'll share the wealth. They don't really try to pinpoint one particular player. 3 players with over 300 yards. Here's Keene again to the tight end. It's Watson, knocked out of bounds near the 5-yard line.
Talking to Boise defensive coordinator Spencer Daniels, he said they had to keep their eyes on their work and be really good with their eyes, and there they weren't. This is one of those plays where you pump it to get the defenders in the secondary to react, and then you sneak Watson up the field. But the best part about it is the back shoulder throw from Mikey Keene so that he doesn't take the big hit from number 23, Oladipo.
1st and goal from the 4. Keene, fade route to the outside. The circus catch almost made. Freeman couldn't haul it in with one hand.
And that's one that Mikey Keene wish he had back. He would like to take a little bit off of that one and allow Josiah Freeman to go up and use his athletic ability in his 6'3" frame to go pluck it out of the air. He tried to lead him a little too much to the sideline.
Tonight's Red Zone is brought to you by Verizon. 33 trips, 21 touchdowns. Fresno State just below the national average, though. So we'll see if they can try to convert here on 2nd and goal.
And if you're the Boise State Broncos,
Logan Fife in at quarterback, and this is going to probably warrant a timeout from Boise State, because anytime you see backup quarterback come in knocking on the door, you're thinking something's up.
30 seconds.
Yeah, when you think about Logan Fife, his ability to run the football, the quarterback run game, the option game, is probably why he's in the game. They want to open up some of those internal run gaps for Sherrod, and the best way to do that is to make the defense have to respect the quarterback run game of Fife.
Fife on the year had to step in while Keene was injured. He had a career-high 291 yards against Utah State. 2-2 as a starter last year. 377 yards this season, 2 touchdowns. Has not ran for a touchdown yet this year, and there's really not a big size difference between the two. Fife, 1 inch taller, 7 pounds heavier.
But you normally and typically don't want your starting quarterback running the football, especially early in November.
So Keene back in the game. Boise State burning that timeout. Justifiably so. 2nd and goal. Just under 7:30 left in the first half. Fresno State scored on their first 2 possessions. Trying to get some more points here. Keene, he'll drop back. Scanning the end zone over the top. Eric Brooks couldn't climb the ladder.
Maybe if he wasn't 5'7", maybe if he was 6 feet tall,
so
that would have been a touchdown.
I wish I was a little bit taller.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. But that was the great, that was the right throw for Mikey Keene. It's
a Trey Watson ball.
He just chose a vertically challenged wide receiver there. Eric Brooks, he's a phenomenal wide receiver. I don't know if his forte is going up over the defense in the red zone.
So 3rd and goal. Big opportunity here for the Boise defense. 3-man rush. Keene going to the end zone. Can't get it is Jalen Gill. So 3 throws, 3 incompletions. And now what do you do if you're Fresno State?
I think you take the 3. You take the 3 here. You have the momentum. You do not want to awaken this Bronco football team with a huge fourth down stop here. So I think you take the 3.
22-yard attempt from the left hash. As Dylan Lynch will try to extend the Fresno State lead to 10. Here's Lynch. Sneaks that in, and so Fresno State will tack on 3 more to take a 13-3 lead, but you have to get the sense this has been a win for the Boise State defense.
It was a huge win for the Boise State defense, and they played man-to-man across the board. Oladipo taking the hard coverage, using the sideline as an extra defender, and forcing the incompletion.
Everybody's having a good time, especially the Fresno State faithful. They lead by 10, 7:15 left here in the first half. Well, Tuesday night at 7 Eastern, we return to the gridiron for some action as Ball State battles Northern Illinois right here on CBS Sports Network. And Northern Illinois, a big game for them as they try to become bowl eligible. They've got an opportunity against Ball State. So for Fresno State, they get the ball all the way down to the 4-yard line. 3 straight incompletions, and they try to attack this Boise State secondary that does have one of the worst pass defenses in the nation, but it's a unit that's getting much better as they stick to their assignments.
And on that last drive, it was more so bend but don't break. They came up big in the red zone. They're going to have to continue that to have success.
Caden Dudley turns it back to the 21-yard line. Well, let's go ahead and find out our AFLAC trivia answer. We asked earlier, again, these two teams have met 4 times in their conference championship game. Who are the 2 FBS teams that have played each other the most times in a conference championship? Survey says Florida and Alabama 10 times in the SEC championship.
I should have known that.
I had Alabama,
I had a 50%, right?
Yeah,
right?
Got a 50%.
So I'll get something for that, right?
Give that to you.
Half credit?
Sure, works
Thank
for me. So Boise State, who's really gone to the ground, found their rhythm. Helani was 60 yards. They take over. Green, little screen pass. It's Helani this time. He's got some room, and Helani on his horse takes it across midfield down to the 45-yard line.
And those are the plays that they're used to and accustomed to seeing from Genty. And that's just a throwback screen. They get the entire defense flowing to the left, throw it back to Hulani, and he just does the rest. And I like the way that he finishes. He always finishes falling forward. Really good job of Green moving the defense and the timing of it. The offensive line getting out, picking up their blocks. Great job of responding for the Broncos offense.
32 yards on the screen. And Boise State already in Fresno State territory. 6:20 left in the first half. John Brez Dubar this time, and this offensive line for Boise State. All sorts of opportunities for these backs.
Yeah, this offensive line is starting to impose their will, and this is one of the best offensive lines in the country. And you see mano-a-mano, locks on the outside, and Dubar does a really good job of picking his gap, putting a foot in the ground, exploding, getting a first down. Their first down running game has been really good tonight, and that's what offensive coordinator Bush Hamden said. We have to run the ball on first and second down to soften up the defense.
80 yards on the ground in the first half for Boise State. Green still in at quarterback. Play action. Green looking deep down into the end zone, and another interception. Alzillian Hamilton snatches it, and Fresno State once again takes over.
And this is what they like from Taylor Green. They like one read to McAllister, throw the ball up, 50-50 ball. And Alzillian Hamilton was initially beat. He just continued to run till he caught up to McAllister. And then the best part, he snagged it out of the air.
Alzillian Hamilton with the interception. They call him AZ. Apparently he just covers everything. And let's take one more look at this, Dante, because this was an incredible defensive play.
And Alzillian Hamilton is now a starter, replacing Cam Lockridge on the outside. And here you have a matchup between 5'11" and 6'4", Eric McAllister on the outside. McAllister does a good job with the release and covering him up. It's just a poor throw from Green. You have to put that ball longer. It has to be on the outside, and you have to give the 6'4" Eric McAllister a chance to go up over the 5'11" cornerback and get the ball. He doesn't, leaves it inside. Alzillian Hamilton makes him pay.
Second interception near the goal line for Boise State. Fresno State will take over. Patient running, busts through a tackle. Finally brought down. Malik Sherrod showing some tough running there on first down.
And what you see from Sherrod there is patience, 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 explosion. And you see it there. He created those gaps with his patience and then the spin at the end. He's a small guy in stature, but he likes to finish with that physicality. I like Sherrod and what he's doing for the run game production on early downs.
Had a big game earlier in the season against Utah State. 24 carries, 131 yards. Fresh set of downs here for Keene. Play action. Delana. Caught a couple of balls here tonight already as Fresno State, just like that, near midfield.
And this Fresno State offense has the Broncos on their heels right now. That was an RPO play action game. The entire defense was sucked up in the run, and then isolation from Magdalena on the outside, which has been a staple in their offense tonight. They're doing a really good job of executing one-on-one balls to Magdalena.
Another first down, and going back to what Avalos said, it feels like Keene has just not felt any pressure whatsoever in that pocket. And as soon as that is said, you get the sack by the defense. Hassanin coming in and planting Keene, who's a little slow to get up.
And I think Mikey Keene is hurt, and the Bulldogs, they don't want to see that. They need Mikey Keene. This is their leader. Looks like he's going to try to gut it out. Looks like he's running to the sideline, and Logan Fife is coming in. And you see Hassan right there just beats his man one-on-one and does a really good job of staying away from the quarterback's head. And you see the helmet of Mikey Keene hits the ground there. You just hope that he's all right.
So Logan Fife will step in on 2nd and 22. 7th sack of the season for Hassanin. Play action, Fife. The screen, and Watson bobbles it. That was a dangerous pass right there. Almost intercepted by Boise State.
And that's the true freshman right there. Ty Benefield does a really good job of beating the block from the offensive lineman, and then a low physical hit right there, separating Trey Watson from the football. That's a good job with the awareness from the Broncos. This is a huge play right here, 3rd and 22, to get the ball back for your offense and potentially put some points on the board before half.
With your backup quarterback in, they'll swing it to the outside. It's Sherrod. A little conservative there just to make sure they can try and improve the field position, but a flag on the play. And
they're going to call a hold over there on one of the receivers. It was on the outside corner, 19, Josiah Freeman with the hold on the outside. It was obvious right there in front of the refs. You see it. You just can't do that. You have to get in front, keep your shoulders square, and keep your hands inside the breastplate of the defender.
That was 3rd and 22, remind you.
And I would think that they would decline this.
Holding, number 19, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So another stop for this Boise State defense. The question for the Broncos now is, can their offense play efficiently, because the defense is doing their part so far?
Yeah, the defense is doing their part, and we call that sudden change. When the offense turns the football over and all of a sudden the defense is called right back on the field, you might be tired. You might be in the middle of drinking water, trying to find your helmet. You have to get out there. Everybody has to be composed. You have to communicate, and you have to go 3 and out to get the football back for your offense. And the Broncos did a brilliant job of going 3 and out there and getting the ball back.
Carson King to punt. Cobbs, fair catch at the 13-yard line. So the sack from Hassanin on 1st down sends Keene out of the game, and Boise State will take over. 13-3 advantage for Fresno State, and CBS Sports recognizes Native American Heritage Month, a time to honor the culture, traditions, and achievements of the nation's original citizens. And for more on tonight's special helmets, let's send it back down to Brandon Baylor.
Yeah, Jordan, Fresno State wearing the custom helmet decals, as you can see here, in partnership with the Table Mountain Casino Resort, the official game sponsor. The decal features the American flag Bulldog script with tribal feathers extending underneath the acknowledgement of the proud Native American culture in and around the Central Valley, as well as the tribe's patriotism with Veterans Day.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. And for Fresno State, you know, things were cruising for them early in this game. They scored quickly on their first 2 possessions. They're up 10-0. They get 2 interceptions, only 3 points off those 2 picks. Now Boise State, the handoff to Helani on 1st and 10. He is stretched out of bounds. Norris Jr. right there.
Let's take a look at the interceptions. You see it here. Phoenix Jackson just reading the quarterback's eyes, catching the football, changing the momentum in the game, and then there, Green just leaving the ball too far inside. Nazillion Hamilton going up and plucking it out of the air, making them pay.
Maddox Madsen back in at quarterback, 2nd and 13 after the 3-yard loss. Madsen, quick completion to the outside, finds McAllister.
And that's what Johnson does best on the outside. 3-step, keep his knees bent, plant and break. And he really closed on that very quickly to make that immediate tackle to get this to a 3rd and long. Fresno State defense has really been on his P's and Q's.
Brings up 3rd and 7. Fresno State calling timeout. What are they thinking here? You've got 1 timeout, 2:45 left. That's obviously enough time to try and get another score if you can force a change of possession here.
Well, you want to get the ball back in great field position. There's data that shows that if you're the offensive team and you're backed up in your own area, and the Fresno State Bulldogs make them go 3 and out, Fresno State 90+% of the time is the first team that scores next. So if you can get a 3 and out right here and force them to punt, it's almost guaranteed that they're at least going to get a field goal.
What are you thinking pressure-wise from the Bulldogs here?
Well, I don't think that the Bulldogs should really go to too much added pressure. I think that if it depends on what quarterback is in the game. If Taylon Green is in there, defensive coordinator Kevin Coyle said, we'll go some zone blitzes, but we'll leave Phoenix Jackson as a spy. If we don't have a spy, this is going to be typical 4-man rush. And compress the pocket, keeping him in there. But you have Madsen in here. I'd go with a blitz. I'd heat him up.
Madsen up at that offensive line communicating. This line has given up only 11 sacks on the year coming in. 3rd and 7. Madsen, clean pocket. Tries to step up, has to bail out now, rushing to the outside, and that is going to be a stop by this Fresno State defense. And the clock stops too.
Yeah, he went out of bounds and stopped the clock, and the Fresno State defense did a really good job of showing pressure at the line of scrimmage, going to a 3-man rush, dropping 8 into coverage, and then reacting once the quarterback breaks the pocket. That's a great job of going 3 and out. And now, with a return, they have 2 returners back. They want to make sure that they catch this punt. They're almost guaranteed to have great field position and go down and get a field goal.
That was 44 Nomura on the hot pursuit, and now that forces a punt with plenty of time left here for Fresno State to try and get one more score before half.
Nearly blocked that one.
And another low-flying kick. That is fielded cleanly by Brooks, but Brooks quickly brought down. Let's send it back down to Brandon for an update on Mikey Keene.
Hey, Jordan, I had a chance to watch him on the sideline. Once he came off, he was holding that left knee. And the trainers told him to go to the bench, and they were looking at it. And he has a giant wrap going up from his knee all the way down to his cleat. He just got off the bike, standing on the sideline, trying to get back in there. So it looks like he's actually in, going in. As you can see, that big blue brace on his left knee.
All right, thank you, Brandon. And that's what you were wondering. He took a really hard fall on that knee, and that can sometimes just stiffen you up, it feels like.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's called a bursa. I've had plenty of those in my career. Hard turf, you fall, it busts like a bursa sack in there, and it just makes the knee a little tight. I don't want to, guess as to what his injury is, but if he's on the field, he's okay.
So here is Keene back in the game. And obviously that knee wrap doesn't impact him at all as he finds the strike to Jalen Gill.
Yep, he's still accurate with the football. He still makes great decisions.
Keene, 13 of 23, 174 yards. Another first down pass intercepted by this Boise State secondary. And Shea Oladipo giving the ball right back to the Broncos.
And that's how you steal momentum. This was an errant throw from Mikey Keene. He almost threw it blindly, and it's behind the intended receiver. And it's a great job of Oladipo tip drill. Right? Catching the football is the hardest part for a defensive back because they're not throwing it to you, and it almost surprises you sometimes. Oladipo has been all over the field for this defense all year long, whether it's in the run game, pass game, turnovers, getting after the quarterback. That could be a huge play right there if they could go down and get points on the board right now.
First interception of the season for Oladipo, the junior from Centennial, Colorado, and now Boise State will take over. Maddox Madsen at quarterback. They go to the ground. It's Halane that's put together an excellent first half, and so Boise State trying to get to the 39-yard line. They do have a weapon in Dalmas, who has a 56-yard kick on the year.
I'm looking for Eric McAllister. One-on-one. Give him a chance.
Madsen this time escapes to his right, has a block on the outside, gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
And that's a good job of stepping up, inside, and out. Being decisive, not forcing the ball downfield, understanding what you have to do to get the clock stopped. Nearly getting to the first down marker here. 3rd and 1 here. They have to pick up this first down.
3rd and 1. Boise State with 2 timeouts, 1:20 left, and they're just going to lunge forward, but a flag comes flying in. I wonder if this is a formation issue.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. Not all players were set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So it moves them back 5 to 3rd and 6. And what's interesting is we haven't seen that famous Clydesdale package yet.
With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock.
They typically go to that Clydesdale package in the red zone. We haven't really seen them down close in the red zone. But they were just trying to get up to the line of scrimmage, catch them with a quick snap, catch the defense sleeping, but everybody wasn't aligned and ready for the snap.
3rd and 6, a lot of traffic at that line of scrimmage. Madsen trying to sort things out with his offensive line, signaling out to his receivers. Pressure comes and a quick completion. Stephon Cobbs, and he is down after the catch. Cobbs in pain.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
Timeout for an injury.
He took a hard hit from Krishan Gordon low. You see it right there. Oh, you really don't even want to see that one. He's such a talented player for this team, and he's in obvious pain down there.
Cobbs, the 6th-year player from Fort Worth, Texas, 22 catches, 228 yards on the season. And for a team that has so many young players, these veteran leaders that have been in these battles before means so much, especially when you go on the road. It's always so hard to see them go to the ground like this.
And these are the guys that are the cornerstone of your program. These are the leaders in your wide receiver room. These are the guys that the young guys look to for performance and to try to duplicate and replicate what they do. You just hope that he's okay. But that was an ugly hit there to the lower extremity.
Not to be lost in that, though. Big time first down completion for Boise State. They were feeling the pressure. 3rd and 6, able to complete that. Keep the chains moving in this drive alive. Don't forget, Boise State will receive the opening kickoff for the second half. So any points here go a long way towards them getting even closer back in this game. A reminder, the target line, 39-yard line for Dalmas. Here's Madsen. Madsen throwing late, nearly intercepted again. That was Norris Jr. That would have been the 3rd pick of the night.
And I tell you what, that was a reckless pass. That was a bad decision, throwing the ball back across the field, and this should be ran back for a touchdown. And Norris, who has 2 interceptions on the season, just missed out on his 3rd and a touchdown to really bust this game wide open.
2nd and 10. Madsen crossing route. McAllister's got it. McAllister has the first down. And a gain of 14 for McAllister.
And McAllister just had a step on Krishan Gordon. It looked like he was late picking up his guy in coverage. Easy first down for McAllister.
Madsen dumps it off. That is Helani with the check down. But again, just so hard to bring down once he gets the rock.
Yeah, they have plenty of time. They're getting up, running their offense.
2nd and 2. Madsen scans the field. Madsen throws it late. Catch is made on the sideline, getting out of bounds, and it's Helani once again.
That's a good job of Helani catching the ball with his hands, having the awareness to get his feet down in bounds. Get his feet in and then get out of bounds to stop the clock. And even last week when Helani came back, he had an awesome back shoulder fade from the backfield. These are some underrated backs when it comes to catching the ball out of the backfield.
Helani with 107 yards from scrimmage in just this first half. 1st and 10, 32 seconds left. Madsen, he'll tuck it and run. Madsen lowers his head, trying to hang on to the football, and Looks like Boise State's going to call timeout. We'll step aside for this 30-second timeout.
Second, charge him out of half.
Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. Brent Stover, Kevin Carter, and Beanie Wells will break down this game and the rest of games around college football today. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. So Charles Remlinger being helped off the field by the athletic training staff. Let's take one more look as he was trying to tackle Madsen.
And what it looks like to me is Remlinger was coming in for the tackle, and Madsen put his helmet in his sternum and probably knocked the wind out of it. That's happened to me on plenty of occasions in football games.
Boise State, no timeouts, 24 seconds left. You've thrown 2 picks on your last 2 drives in this part of the field. What are you thinking? Madsen, dangerous throw, able to complete it. Rolling out of bounds is Billy Bowens, and the Broncos on the doorstep.
And that's a perfect play right there on the sideline, getting the clock to stop within 2 minutes of the half. Have 16 seconds to try to get it in the end zone here. I think that you have to go outside to McAllister. 50-50 ball. He's 6'4", throw it up and allow him to go up and make a play.
This is when you would love to have a timeout because you see how well Helani's been running the ball, but you can't afford that risk if he doesn't get in, I imagine.
No, if you run the football here, you run the risk of the clock running out. I think here, this is all pass down territory, and if you have a guy like McAllister, you have to utilize him.
McAllister in motion. It's Madsen rolling out, looking for Chase Penry just off the fingertips. And that brings up 3rd and goal.
And the timing was off on that. That was a rub pick. They were trying to free him up, and they just missed the throw. The accuracy for the Broncos quarterback has not really been there tonight. That should have been an easy touchdown going into half for the Broncos.
12 seconds left. 3rd and goal. Boise State will get the second half kickoff. Trying to put up 7 big points before halftime. Madsen rolling, finds his man, Billy Bowens with the touchdown. It was Bowens that caught it on the 2-yard line to get them into this position, and it's Bowens that finishes the job.
And you can hear a pin drop in this stadium. Great drive from the Broncos, taking advantage of the turnover, driving it down, and there, they wanted to get the ball to the halfback in the flat. It wasn't there. He went to his second option. Touchdown, getting back on the board. It's getting very interesting here.
Boise State now trailing by 3. Bowens, his first touchdown catch of the season.
Yeah, when you look at this play here, it's a sprint out, and they really want to get Hulani here to the flat. And you see the outside defender, Azilian Hamilton, takes away Hulani. And then Madsen does a great job of drilling the ball in the back, the side of the end zone for the touchdown. Coach is pretty pumped right now because after all that's been going wrong for the Broncos here in the first half, they're within 1 score.
And Bush Hamden, very happy, as you can tell. And what's interesting is, how about Madsen? You've thrown an interception near the red zone earlier. To weave that pressure-packed pass between 3 defenders probably speaks volumes about the freshman's maturity.
Now you see why they're giving him majority of the snaps over Taylor Green. It's his ability to bounce back. It's his ability to push the ball down the field and make the proper decisions. And you saw it on that drive. They needed it going into the half right there to come away with some points. And he did a really good job of placing the ball, putting it where it had to be, keeping it away from the defense, and ultimately coming away with the touchdown.
The Mountain West Freshman Player of the Week, able to get the touchdown throw to Bowens. And what's interesting is Fresno State has had 2 turnovers they've forced, 2 picks. They've only turned those into 3 points. Boise State, their lone interception, 7 critical points. They'll kick the skimmer. That's picked up by Sherrod, and Sherrod has some room, and Sherrod might house this before halftime. It's up to the kicker, and it's Dolmas that can't get him. It's Sherrod, a haymaker from Fresno State as time expires. How do you let that happen, Dante?
You can't let that happen. You squib kicked it for a reason. You have to get Sherrod on the ground. You cannot have lapses. Coach Avalos told us this game is going to come down to 2 big plays on special teams, and there's the first one, and it goes Fresno State's way.
First kickoff return for a touchdown since 2008 for Fresno State, and it comes at an unbelievably clutch moment, and that'll lead to a very heated Boise State locker room at halftime.
Yeah, you see Sherrod there. He typically gets the ball in offense. He had a 72-yard run earlier this year for a touchdown versus Nevada. And there, just busting the game wide open, getting the energy back in this stadium.
Boise State had the momentum, but Fresno State, a kickoff return touchdown as time runs out in the first half to regain a 10-point lead. Malik Sherrod, a lightning bolt on the return. The speed, the balance, and the muscle to get Fresno State in prime position heading into the second half. That's the end of the first half. After the break, it's Brent Stover and the crew in New York. You're watching college football on the network. Beef jerky. Let's check out the Liberty Mutual game summary. Fresno State leading 20-10 over Boise State. You see Boise State 2 turnovers. Fresno State able to just get 3 points off of those, but it was the kickoff return for a touchdown that changed everything. For Boise State, unfortunately, the theme has been game-breaking plays that have maybe swung the game. Earlier this season, they're up 17-0 at Memphis, knocking on the door to go up 20-0. The field goal is blocked, ran back for a touchdown. Boise State would lose by 3. And then Colorado State, the Rams, score 20 unanswered points, including the Hail Mary as time expired to get the win. And then tonight, right before halftime, 7 seconds left, the squib kick, Malik Sherrod, 95-yard house call as the clock strikes 0, and Fresno State rebuilds their lead back to 10. So Jordan Kent alongside Dante Whitner. And Dante, the question for Boise State, this young team on the road, how do they bounce back after that?
Well, you have to respond. They've been having a lot of success running the ball with George Hulani. 12 carries for 62 yards, averaging over 5 yards per rush. Both quarterbacks have turnovers. They have to run the football, play action, get the ball downfield to Eric McAllister, and not give up explosives on defense, and they'll be able to get back in this game.
Both teams 3-1 in conference play. And so Boise State will get the opening kickoff for the second half, which is why that kickoff return was so huge for Fresno State. It'll be Caden Dudley taking it out of the end zone. Dudley gets to the sideline, but a flag comes flying in. You figure this might be a hold against the Boise State return team.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 51, return team, 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down and 10, Boise State.
All right, let's send it down to Brandon Baylor for more.
Yeah, Jordan, if we learn anything, 7 seconds can change the momentum in this game. I had a chance to speak to Coach Tedford going in, and he said, hey, look, that was a great play by Sherrod, but we have to play complete 4 quarters. On the opposite side, head coach Andy Avalos, he came out a little bumpy, a little happy, saying, you know what, that was a body blow. This is a heavyweight fight. We have to respond, and that's what he told his guys coming out here into the third.
Thanks, Brandon. We'll see how Boise State responds. It's going to be Madsen in at quarterback and can't make the connection. Trying to get it across the middle. And for Boise State, they finally found some momentum on offense on their last drive.
Yeah, they did find some momentum, and it all started with getting the ball to Eric McAllister on his shallow crossing route to get the first down. And then Madsen throwing the ball on the outside to continue to drive, and then there, fitting the ball on the sideline for the big touchdown.
And that's the encouraging thing for Boise State as they face 2nd and 10. They have been moving the ball on offense. It's just trying to limit those turnovers. They go to the ground. Here is Helani, who is just continuing to churn yards every time he touches the rock. But here are the first half possessions, the back-to-back interceptions. But I think, again, you're seeing the ground game really open things up for the Broncos.
And that's what you're going to have to see here in the second half. You have to lean heavily upon George Helani. You have to run the football. I think that he needs somewhere around 25 carries tonight for the Broncos to win this game.
He's got 12 for 62 yards. 3rd and 3. It's Madsen rolling to his right. Madsen broken up. Another near interception. That was Gordon getting into the game and getting his hands on the ball.
And they figured out a way to double Eric McAllister there. You see Carlton Johnson moves in the slot. He's inside leverage. And then Krishan Jordan is sitting on the outside shoulder. So as soon as he broke to the outside, Krishan put his foot in the ground. And that should have been an interception. It was very close.
So a quick 3 and out for the Bronco offense. There's Ferguson Reynolds. Again, another low-flying punt. Dropped initially, and this is going to be Brooks able to squirm forward for a handful of yards. So Fresno State, we said it before, scored on that kickoff return as time was expiring. They were on fire early in this game. A touchdown, a field goal, but then started to run into some issues with this Boise State offense as they turned up the pressure.
And those have been some issues that they've had all season long. When they're moving at their maximum, optimum on offense, they're completing the deep ball, they're moving the chains, they're running the ball on 1st and 2nd down. When they're not able to run the ball on 1st down, and they're not able to pick up those key 3rd downs. And that's why they started to sputter towards the end of that first half.
1st and 10 for Mikey Keene. Watson will move to the other side of the formation. The handoff to Sherrod, and Sherrod, a big hit coming in as Tubner was running downhill.
That's a great job of filling the internal gap from Tubner. He's a very physical safety, and they keep him around the line of scrimmage a lot. Great job of stepping to contact, wrapping, and getting him on the ground.
The redshirt senior from Seaside, Oregon. It's been all over the field here tonight. 2nd and 8. Keep an eye on the mobility for Mikey Keene. That left knee wrapped up. He was sacked by Hassanin. Came back into the game and threw an interception on the very next series. They go to the ground again. And trying to establish that run, Fresno State. But that'll bring up 3rd down as Gilliam couldn't get much going there.
And that's what Boise State wants to force Fresno State to do. They kept both safeties back. They had only 7 guys in a box, which is considered a light box, and they forced them to run the football there, and they were able to stop it, not allow it to go for a 1st down with a light box, and they're giving a similar look here on this 3rd down.
3rd and 4. Sherrod in the backfield. Delana motions. Keene flips it to Sherrod. Sherrod facing 3 defenders, eludes all of them, but wrapped up just short. Oladipo saving it.
And those are some incredible moves from Sherrod. And you'll see it there. I thought this was going to be an easy vice tackle. I thought that the safety was going to be outside, the linebacker inside. He does a good job of making both guys miss, and it looks like they gave him a 1st down. Sherrod is really putting his offense on his back tonight.
So they give him a 1st down, and Sherrod, the elusiveness, keeps the drive alive. This time met by a bevy of Boise State defenders. One more look at this last play, though.
I thought this clearly was going to be an easy tackle for the defense, but Sherrod and his ability to make guys miss, and he was short. I don't really like the spot that they gave him there. There was a reason why Fresno State got up on the ball and snapped it very early.
I'm with you. He looked like he was clearly short of the 1st down marker. So either way, Fresno State won't complain. They'll take it. It's 2nd and 8. Keene rolling to his right, throwing on the run, and couldn't quite get it. Had an opportunity as Delana was trying to come back to the ball.
And that was a great job from both corners on the outside, stand top shoulder. And they forced that ball out. They almost forced Mikey Keene out of the pocket with the internal pressure. Mac Delana just wasn't able to react and recover and come back to the football on the sideline.
Both teams sitting at 50% on their third down opportunities tonight. It's a ball at the 44-yard line for Fresno State. 3rd and 7. Make that 3rd and 8. Keene rifles it. It's Jalen Moss, the catch and run. Correction, Josiah Freeman with the reception.
And Mikey Keene, when he sees the defense pre-snap and you show him what defense you're in, he's going to pick you apart. And that's exactly what happened there. Just an easy dig on the backside, fitting the ball on the inside. The linebacker overruns it and allows Josiah Freeman to run for the extra yardage. Great job of Mikey Keene delivering an accurate football there.
Freeman, 3 catches for 39 yards on the night. Keene, pump fake, throws it low and outside where only his man can get it.
And Clark almost made him double pump that football, and you see it. Great catch with the hands through the ground. Looked like the ball landed on Clark's hand. That's a catch. That's a catch.
Tim Greer Jr., who had a touchdown against UNLV last week with the reception. 2nd and 5. Gilliam in the backfield. They give it to Gilliam, trying to spin out of traffic. Well defended. Michael Callahan getting in on the action.
Andrew Simpson was the player that forced that ball into the interior of the defense there. He came off the edge with so much speed. They love him in attack mode. We haven't really said his name much since the first half. This Fresno State team is starting to drive. Boise State is going to have to step up. At some point, you have to come after the quarterback and leave those secondary players in coverage, hoping that they can stand up.
3rd and 3 from the 35, that gray area. Maybe you're thinking 4-down territory here. Keene has time, going to the outside. Oh, brings it in with one hand. Josiah Freeman.
And that's just length. You see it, one hand grab, fending off the defender McCoy with his right, and coming through the ground and keeping control of the football. Josiah Freeman has really came to play tonight.
A trading card type catch right there. Fresno State in the red zone. The handoff, Gilliam trips up on his own feet, lunges forward. Tonight's Red Zone is brought to you by Verizon. 1 trip, 1 field goal for Fresno State. But they've been a little bit more measured on this drive. It feels like they're just taking their time, getting in and out of the play, being very patient.
They are, and this is when they're at their best. When they take their time, 1st and 2nd down, get into the right play. When Mikey Keene is delivering accurate footballs and being decisive, and Sherrod is breaking off big plays. This is what they like to see from their offense. 2nd
and 6, Gilliam again stumbling as he gets the handoff, has to dance around just to try and get back to the original line of scrimmage.
And he almost went down right there, and that's the type of balance that you like to see from your backs. He probably made 7 guys miss and picked up 1 yard there. Elijah Gilliam started 3 games for this team this year. And he was their leading rusher through the first 6 games of the year until Sherrod fully got healthy. He's a dependable back for this Fresno State team.
So Keene signaling to the sideline. Trying to get the call here. 3rd down for Fresno State. Would love to get a touchdown here. Here is Sherrod. Sherrod again breaking tackles. And the extra effort for the 1st down for Sherrod.
And Sherrod has been given extra effort all night long. On the kickoff return, the previous play that he caught the ball in the flat, this one breaking tackles.
1st and goal from the 4. It's Sherrod, and who else? Malik Sherrod. 5 finds the end zone, but they're going to rule him short, it looks like.
Short of the goal line.
And
Looks like that extra effort got in.
Kind of banged up. He got up a little gingerly. Let's take a look at it. It looks like his knees went down, like right there at the 1 inch line, 1 inch yard line. But it's just the extra effort from Sherrod. He's not the biggest guy. He's only 5'8", 173 pounds, and he's running through linebackers that are 230, 240 pounds. He's down right there. It looks like it'll be 1st and inches. Like they're checking his legs, his lower extremities for cramps.
Yeah,
that's usually what that means when they're massaging those calves.
Right now, yeah. So 2nd and goal coming up here for Fresno State. And going back to establishing the run, this is a pass-happy Fresno State team. But so far in this second half, Malik Sherrod, his ability to carry the rock, break tackles, has kept this drive alive.
And that's what the key to the game was. The number of completions from Mikey Keene to his wide receivers and running backs, and the ability to run the football. If they can get that number combined, runs and completions to over 50, they've had a 92% win percentage in games. So it looks like they're having success on 1st and 2nd down running the football, and that's what offensive coordinator Pat McCann said had to happen tonight to be victorious.
Gilliam in the backfield. Gets the handoff, and Gilliam struts into the end zone for the touchdown. Fifth touchdown of the season for Elijah Gilliam, and Fresno State has now built a 3-score lead.
After the first 6 games of this year, Elijah Gilliam has kind of fallen out of favor in this Bulldog offense. Here tonight, a lot of tough runs, and then that one right there, the easiest of the night, just breaking outside of contain to get in for the easy touchdown.
His coaching staff said they don't win that game against Purdue to start the season without him. His ability to continue to churn yards in that opening game was huge for them, and here tonight, able to close out this drive with a touchdown. But Malik Sherrod, the extra effort to keep this drive going. And then Elijah Gilliam to cap it off as Fresno State leads by 17.
This is where the world gonna play. College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Aflac. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. By IHG Hotels and Resorts. 18 hotel brands, 6,000 global destinations, 1 loyalty program. And by Chili's 3 for Me, the best $10.99 you can eat.
The last Mountain West team to defeat Fresno State at home was Boise State on November 6, 2021, and George Halani had 117 rush yards, and the defense had 3 interceptions, and Broncos won 40-14 here in Fresno. It's been a different story tonight as the Bulldogs have built their largest lead of the night at 17. So you take a look at what these teams have been able to do in the ball control. That was a 7-minute, 25-second drive by Fresno State that gives them the time of possession advantage.
And both teams have had success running the football, which is why the time of possession is pretty balanced. On that last drive right there, Fresno State milked 7.5 minutes off the clock, and their ability to run the football on 1st and 2nd down and execute and move the chains on 3rd down was the reason. And this is a almost must-score moment for the Broncos if they want to stay close in this game.
Swing it outside to Halani, and it's hard to believe that Boise State had this game 13-10 with 7 seconds left in the first half. And then Fresno State runs the kickoff back for a touchdown. They get a 3 and out and then score on the next drive.
It's a microcosm of their entire season. This seems to happen in games that they lose. They're going to have to bounce back and respond here if they want to keep this close.
2nd and 7 for Madsen. Play action. Madsen has to get rid of it. Looking down the seam and finds McAllister near the sideline, but they're saying he might have juggled it as Halani providing some excellent pass protection.
And it looks like Eric McAllister is still down. Great protection there, and he caught him in the perfect defense. There was a corner blitz leaving the safety Clark one-on-one on the outside, a mismatch with McAllister. And let's see if he
Media timeout.
hold on to it throughout the catch. Looks like it moved a little bit.
So McAllister still down on the ground. We'll have an update when we come back. Boise State trailing by 17, but good news for them. Eric McAllister popped right back up after that completion. Well, the Bulldogs hit the road next Saturday as they go head-to-head with rival San Jose State in the battle for the Valley. Kickoff begins at 10:30 Eastern here on CBS Sports Network. Dante, you were saying, as we take a look at the Mountain West standings here, this game is so important for both these teams trying to get into the conference championship game. This drive, extremely important for Boise State right now.
It's very important. They have to drive down and get points on the board, and then when they get on defense, they have to come away with a takeaway or get the ball back for their offense very quickly, or this game could get very out of hand very quickly.
Madsen, play action, steps up, finds the connection, streaking across the field. That's Austin Bolt. And Austin Bolt out of bounds around the 5-yard line. And they are happy to see the big-bodied receiver from Boise back on the field.
Again, they're having really good protection up front, protecting Madsen. And then there was just a half roll, misdirection, and the tight end breaking away from the coverage of the defense. Really good job of catching the football, putting it away, and getting in the red zone and scoring position.
This coaching staff says Bolt just as talented as McAllister, as now Talon Green comes back into the game with Boise State first and goal from the 5-yard line.
And I can tell you, everybody in the stadium knows what to expect here. Talon Green likes to use his legs down here.
The snap is off the back, but it was whistled dead beforehand. Boise State dodging one there.
Yeah, that could have been catastrophic without that timeout there.
Game. First, charge him out of the half. Boise State, 30 seconds.
Woo!
That goes in the Hall of Fame of best timeouts that you could call at a moment.
Yeah, Coach Avalos has it all dialed up, and you know he's feeling really good right now that play wasn't a caused fumble. Looks like he has 0 on the clock there. But we can't really hear the whistles from the sideline, and we don't know exactly when he called in for the timeout, so it's hard to gauge it right there watching it without any sound.
Either way, you saw what could have happened if that play was still live, and so Boise State, first and goal. They use their first timeout of the second half. But here it is, live action.
Let's check it out live. Seems a little late on that one.
Sounds a little late.
But that could mean that the refs blew the whistle late. Doesn't mean that Coach Avalos signaled for the timeout.
So Dudley in motion again. The handoff to Helani. He plows forward. Stops short at the 3-yard line.
That's a good job of the Bulldog defense creating a pile. Down here in the red zone, you tell your defensive tackles, just create a pile, get low, and allow the linebackers and safeties to fill off of you. Not much room for Helani to operate with in the middle of that defense there.
Do you continue to go with Helani here, or do you try to get Green out of the pocket moving?
I spread them out. I possibly go empty, and I allow Talon Green to make it happen for this offense down here.
Green has 5 rushing touchdowns on the year. Second and goal. Helani again trying to muscle forward. He is short. So third and goal coming up.
The runner is short of the goal line. Third down.
Are we going to see the Clydesdale package? This is where we see, 3 defensive linemen come in to help this offensive line try to punch it into the end zone. Doesn't look like they're going to go to the Clydesdale package, but you have your next best option, and that's Talon Green. 6'6", long stride, the ability to get outside the defense. I think you have to keep the defense honest here. Potentially Green keep it.
They go to Helani. Helani spinning, trying to reach for the goal line, and it is ruled a touchdown. So George Helani able to get Boise State right back on the board.
And that's exactly what Talon Green did there. You'll see he kept number 44 honest. And you see Maurice Norris come in, could have got a better piece of Hulani and knocked him back. I don't know if you call that second, third effort, but whatever it is, Hulani was determined to get into the end zone, stretching the ball out over the goal line. And that's the response that this Boise State team needed here in the third quarter.
A critical answer by the Boise State offense. Hulani's first rushing touchdown of the season. Kick is good from Dalma. So 27-17. Boise State pulls to within 10, but the drive highlighted by Eric McAllister making this sideline grab, and that set up George Hulani to force his way into the end zone as Boise State responds. November games always meaning so much more. Let's take a look at the big picture. The Huskies take a bite out of the Trojans as number 5 Washington rolls. Bedlam in Stillwater. Oklahoma State upsetting Oklahoma 27-24. Texas outlasting Kansas State in overtime. They win by 3. And then Alabama, the Tide rolling past LSU 42-28. Looks like Alabama's going to shake off that early season loss, and they are right in position to possibly move into that top 4. So we got a good one here in Fresno. 27-17 lead for the Bulldogs after Boise State scores. And it's George Hulani. Remember, Ashton Genty leading the nation in all yards from scrimmage out tonight. But Hulani picking up the slack as the redshirt senior leading the charge. Here's Gill, brought down, and for more on Malik Sherrod, who we saw tended to, let's go ahead and send it down to Brandon.
Yeah, Jordan, during that defensive drive, Malik Sherrod was in the tent for a little bit. He did come out jumping around and went right to the bike to kind of keep warm here. And the games, his coaches came over, gave him a few fist bumps, and it seems like he's good to go.
All right, thank you, Brandon. We saw the training staff massaging both calves, and you see players do that sometimes, that they're dealing with the cramps late in the game.
He's probably cramping up from all the open field and the long runs that he's had tonight. The big plays, the spin moves, the ability to make guys miss. That's why he's cramping up, but it's no big deal. He's back out there, and he's ready to give it a go.
So direct snap to Sherrod as Keene motions out. And well defended by that Boise State defensive front. So Boise State, this defense, they were incredible last week in that victory over Wyoming. They held Wyoming to just 112 yards, lowest amount in a Mountain West Conference game this year. Tonight, not so much. 305 total yards for Fresno State. We still have a fourth quarter to play.
And that Wyoming offense last week didn't have the weapons, the capable weapons that this Fresno State Bulldog team has.
2nd and 8. Keene. Josiah Freeman making the catch, stumbling forward, picking up a few more yards.
And he's been fired up all night. And you see it continuing to fight for extra yards. Josiah Freeman has been featured here tonight. They're using a lot of the safeties and other defenders to take away the other skill position players like Eric Brooks, who we haven't heard from all night. And Josiah Freeman is one-on-one, and he's winning his individual matchups.
5 catches, 65 yards for Freeman. 3rd and 1 for Fresno State. The handoff to Sherrod. He is met in the backfield, and he is short. Having an absolute read on it was Andrew Simpson, who came in like a missile.
And that's how they like to use him. They like to use him in attack mode. Internal blitzes in the A and B gap, and that has to be his 3rd TFL on the night. Perfect textbook tackle in the hole. Great job of Simpson, and great job of getting the ball back for your offense.
The crowd not too happy with the punt team coming out. They want to see Fresno State try to move this forward, but they're at their own 33 here.
You can't listen to the crowd. You have to make the intelligent decision here. Punt the ball. Your defense has been playing okay. Make Boise State have to drive the entire field.
Here's Carson King. High flying punt. And fair catch is made by Penry. So Boise State will take over when we come back.
Timeout on the field.
Let's check out our Geico difference makers. We'll start with Malik Sherrod for Fresno State, 173 all-purpose yards, including that 95-yard touchdown return on that kickoff to end the first half. And then George Halani, 74 yards on the ground, 47 yards receiving. And Dante, in the absence of Ashton Jeanty, how huge has the presence of George Halani been?
It's been incredible for this offense, and it's going to see a theme here in these highlights. The first guy missing, Malachi Langley, spin move. You're going to see it here on the edge. First guy, Dean Clark, misses, finishes with physicality, and then there, Maurice Norris missed the tackle, extra effort, stretch it over the goal line, in for the touchdown. He's given up everything he has tonight.
It's been a season of if only for Boise State. They were counting on having both Jeanty and Halani together, and they only played 3 plays together until Halani got hurt in the opening game against Washington. 1st and 10. Madsen double pumps it, late throw across the middle.
That was just a bad throw there. Late decision over the middle. He actually missed him. He should have thrown it into that second window. He waited to the third. The defense covered it up, and then Dean Clark drove on the football. He nearly threw an interception there. You're 5'11" behind 6'5" offensive lineman. It's going to be difficult sometimes to see your receivers.
2nd and 10. He was trying to go to Prince Strong on that last throw. They go to Halani. Halani brought down after a gain of 4. That brings up 3rd down.
That's a great tackle from Malachi Langley there. And we've just shown the highlight package with Halani making guys miss, actually spinning off of Malachi Langley earlier in the game. Great job of coming to balance, stepping to contact, and making the open field tackle. Making this a 3rd and long here. I'm expecting the Fresno State Bulldogs to come and heat up the quarterback here on 3rd down.
And this is where Boise State talks about Halani's pass protection, why it's been so critical to help them on 3rd down. 3rd and 7. Madsen has time, clean pocket, gets it to Strawn. Strawn with those long galloping strides races down out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Prince Strawn, who's averaging 13.6 yards. That's a huge catch right there, and that had to be a blown coverage for the Fresno State Bulldogs. Strawn, who's originally from the Bahamas, didn't start playing football until 2019, and he's consistently getting better on a weekly basis. Great job of picking up the 1st down there.
Fresh set of downs for Madsen. The hand up to Halani, and he is drugged down in the backfield. Johnny Hudson Jr.
Johnny Hudson coming off the best game of his career last week.
Is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Great job of staying front side, being physical.
Well, that's the end of the 3rd quarter. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Fresno State up 10, 4th quarter. Boise State driving. And don't forget, Fresno State ran back a kickoff to close out the first half as time expired to go right back up by 10, and that's been a major difference in this game. 2nd and 13 for Maddox Madsen. Madsen has time in the pocket, trying to get it to McAllister, well defended.
I still don't like that throw. He's semi-rolling to the right, and he's throwing back to the left. The defensive back, who's in between the quarterback throwing it and the wide receiver on the sideline, can easily step in front and intercept that ball. I think he needs to be a little more careful when he's rolling to either side and throwing back against the grain of the defense.
Boise State have already thrown 2 interceptions on the night. Empty backfield. We have a timeout called.
First, charge them out of the half. Fresno State, 30 seconds.
So Fresno State will call timeout. And what's the thought process here for the Bulldogs as they get set to try and get the ball back?
Well, they called that timeout because they didn't have the proper personnel group on the field. There's a 3rd and long right now, and they want to get their pass rushers out there. And depending on who the quarterback is, they'll go blitz and have a spy, or they'll go 4-man game and have a spy, or they'll try to keep Green in the pocket and compress it because of his ability to get outside and escape. So there's a number of different things that you can do if you're the Fresno State Bulldog defense, but it all depends on who's that quarterback.
It's been Madsen so far this drive, and it will continue to be Madsen as you see Talon Green on the sidelines there. Boise State, they will interchange these quarterbacks every snap at times. But now it's 3rd and 13. Boise State 4-4 on the season, 25 consecutive winning seasons. And they've been decent on 3rd down here. Here comes the pressure. Madsen hit as he throws, and that'll force 4th and long.
And the communication on defense there is too blurred. You see the receiver coming on a shallow. They passed that to Malachi Langley, but they brought the surprise blitz. The linebackers had zone alignments pre-snap, and at the snap of the ball, they were at the line of scrimmage, confusing the offensive line and flushing Madsen out of the pocket. Great job of timing and execution on defense there.
Langley and Norris Jr. were in on the action. So here is Ferguson Reynolds, and they'll throw it. It's a fake. Reynolds flips it outside, and Boise State able to convert a surprise on special teams. And that was Jaden Virgin that makes the catch. And Andy Avalos said there are going to be 2 special teams plays that decide this game. We've seen one. This could be number 2.
Yeah, this is definitely number 2. And this is a little bit of get back for that kickoff return earlier in the game. And you see it. They were going for a block there. Virgin just slipping out, catching it, which is the hardest part when you're wide open. And then picking up the yards after catch, putting them near scoring position.
They told us in our meetings to be ready for something special. 1st and 10. Madsen, they want a quick strike after that. Just off the hands of Eric McAllister. Thought he had that one.
Eric McAllister is tied for 1st in the country in contested catches. He's accustomed to going up and making hard catches on the sideline. And if you ask him, he thinks he's supposed to make this ball, and I think he should as well. It's actually a great ball from Madsen, putting the ball on the outside. He would have came down clearly inbounds. That's a drop for me from McAllister.
Second missed opportunity with him. Don't forget, he had a pass broken up in the end zone. Handoff to Penry, not much going, so Boise State already back in a 3rd and long. They do have a great field goal kicker. Dalmas has a long of 56. His target line's right where they're at right now, the 39-yard line.
And that's what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, if we can get half of this, we'll put our kicker in great field goal position. If we can pick up the 1st down, now we're really in play for a touchdown.
Madsen has time. He's going to tuck it and run it. Madsen trying to get the 1st down, and he does. A gain of 13 on 3rd and 10 for Maddox Madsen.
And now they're going tempo, and I like what he did there. They had man coverage. They run crossing routes. He stepped up, made a decision, took off, and got the 1st down.
Here comes the quick tempo, swings it out. Penry knocked out of bounds. How about the poise on this drive for Madsen, the redshirt freshman?
He's showing great poise. He's spreading the ball around. It doesn't look like the moment is too big for him. And, hey, you don't have to get it all back here. Just get some points on the board, make it a 1-score game, and you never know what can happen in the 4th quarter.
11 plays, 63 yards currently on this drive. Madsen rolling out to his right. Another late throw across the middle, just out of the hands of Lavelle Bailey, who has had a knack for closing games with interceptions. And Madsen's got to be much more careful than that.
Yeah, he has to be a lot more careful, and you see it there. Lavelle Bailey just outside of his outstretched hands. He normally typically catches that ball there. And if he didn't get it, Krishan Gordon in the back of the end zone was going to get it. I'm just not a big fan of throwing the ball back against the grain of the defense.
3rd and 5, empty backfield. Fresno State showing pressure. They rush 4. Maddox trying to get to McAllister, and that is contested again. Hamilton with the excellent coverage.
And that was a great job of disguise there. They showed 7 men at the line of scrimmage. They brought a 4-man rush. And then to this side, you see a zillion Hamilton underneath. They put Norris back at the safety and baited Matson into throwing that ball. That should have been another interception for Hamilton.
Dalmas, a chance to set the all-time career-made field goals mark for Boise State and to pull his team to within 7. A 39-yard attempt, and Dalmas has got the record, and Boise State inches closer as his historic kick keeps the momentum going for the Broncos. So Jonah Dalmas, 68 career-made field goals, has Boise State down just 1 score as we are in the 4th quarter in Fresno. And that was our IHG game recap. 7-point lead for Fresno State. You see the numbers for George Halani. Boise State, 2 turnovers. Malik Sherrod, that 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown as time expired at the end of the first half, has been the difference in this one. It is Jalen Gill hurtling to the outside, and Gill is going to pick up some nice yardage as he lowers his shoulder. And we said before, this game incredibly important for both these teams. The winner of this game will control their own destiny to the Mountain West Conference Championship game, as you've got Air Force sitting there at 5-0, UNLV 4-1 on the season.
Yeah, and the winner of this game is going to clearly have the leg up on the other team. So you know, it's a must-win on both sides. And when you think about Fresno State, they have the tiebreaker versus UNLV. So, yeah, both teams control their own destiny.
Boise State will host Air Force in their regular season finale. So a win for them would obviously give them a golden opportunity to try and get to that championship game. Here's Keene. Nice completion to Delana, and a little extracurricular activity on the outside. That's going to be a flag on Jalen Clark, and just a mistake you can't afford to make in that situation.
And we asked Coach Avalos, is your team prepared to handle the energy here tonight and to make the proper decisions? And he said
after
yes.
The play was over.
Right there.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 6. Defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
You just have to keep your cool in that moment. That 15-yard penalty can be very costly for your team. You just clawed your way back into this game and made it a 1-score game, and now Fresno State is back in scoring position nearly. So Clark, you just have to keep your cool right there on the outside.
Clark goes to the sidelines. There haven't been that many penalties, but there you have it. Boise State trying to keep Fresno State out of the end zone. Here is Keene, takes all the time in the world, and the deep crossing route completed. It's been Delana.
With Boise State having to go to some man coverage, they're just running away from the leverage of the defensive backs. And again, Mikey Keene delivering some accurate balls.
Fresno State ran 2 plays, and they were already at the 14-yard line. The handoff to Sherrod goes for a couple.
And we can't forget about the big return from Jalen Gill, putting them in great field position. And that was the 3rd big special teams play today that we've seen. And it's really going to help determine the outcome of this game.
2nd and 8. Brooks goes in motion. They go to Sherrod again, and tripped up by Simpson and then cleaned up by his teammates. So now it's 3rd down, and if you're Fresno State, I imagine you got to be careful here because you want to try and maintain a 2-possession lead if you can get the field goal.
Yeah, I would think that you would want to play it safe here. Sherrod has shown the ability to make guys miss. Maybe you can get him out in the flat with a one-on-one. Throw it up to one of your receivers on the outside, Jalen Moss, or even in the slot down here, with Trey Watson matched up on Alexander Tubner. That's definitely a mismatch.
You've got Delana, leading receiver with 6 receptions at the top of your screen. Sherrod in the backfield. Keene has to get out of the pocket. And Keene will just find Sherrod for a little check down on the sideline. They pick up a couple yards.
Completed pass.
You imagine they're going to go for the field goal here. And Keene a little hobbled as he
and he's battling tonight. Yeah, he's battling tonight. He's taking some big hits. He's come back and continued to fight. Yeah, and you see that right there. He came into it with a big brace on the right ankle. He hurt the knee earlier in the game, the left knee. And he's just giving his team his all. He's been taking some hits.
So Dylan Lynch, a 24-yard attempt for his 3rd field goal of the night, and the chip shot is good. So Fresno State back up 10. Just took them a couple of plays, and they score once again here in the 4th quarter.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Papa John's. Try the new garlic epic stuffed crust pizza today. By Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Walmart. Welcome to your Walmart.
Fresno State, a 10-point lead, 30-20, 10 minutes left in this ball game. And it has been an exciting matchup, some thrilling plays back and forth. And now Boise State will get the ball and a chance to try and make this a 1-possession game. And they've scored on 3 of their last 4 drives. They've been able to put up a total of 17 points. What do they need to do here on offense in this particular drive?
Well, they need to make sure that they move the sticks. You don't want to come out and just get gun happy and start just dropping back, throwing the football. You want to keep Lonnie involved, but you don't want to take a significant amount of time off the clock because you need 2 possessions here.
Here's Dudley on the return and brought down at the 21-yard line. Well, let's get to the Chili's play of the game, and it was Malik Sherrod sizzling like some fajitas from Chili's on this 95-yard kickoff return touchdown just before halftime as time expired. This has been the difference.
Yeah, definitely been a difference in the game. And once he got to the 2nd level of that kickoff, I knew that he was gone. He hit the sideline, made the kicker miss, and that's the biggest play of the game right there. Sherrod, he came into the game saying he needed to have a big game. He ran the ball well, he ran it tough, and then that kickoff return could have been a difference.
So a play is under review at this moment. Try to get some clarification from these officials, but you saw the note. Almost 15 years to the day was Fresno State's last kickoff return for a touchdown. So the ball is spotted at the 22-yard line right now for Boise State, and I wonder if it's where the spot of the ball should be at. Well, let's check out a replay of what just happened here, and we'll try to figure out what these officials are looking at here. Do you see anything there, Dante?
I don't see anything there. I have no idea what they're looking at.
The only thing that looked questionable was, so right now they're looking at invalid fair catch. That's what they're trying to review right here. And he caught it outside of the end zone at about the 1 or 2 yard line. Let's see. So he puts his hands on his chest and then he runs it. This is at the 2 yard line. He does that.
I think that he was signaling to the other returner, I have the football, you go and block, which is very normal when you're a returner. If you have 2 returners back there, you see it patting his chest. The hand has to go above the head and wave it for it to be a fair catch. That's not a fair catch signal.
And plus, Dante, isn't there some common sense here, knowing that most players aren't going to call for a fair catch on the 2-yard line?
Yes, there's some common sense that has to click in here. So I don't know why he's still looking at the play for this.
Well, here comes the call.
After review, a Boise State player gave an invalid fair catch signal at the 20-yard line. The kick was caught at the 3, and by rule, it's dead when it's possessed. Be first down and 10, Boise State at the 3-yard line.
Wow. So 1st and 10 from the 3-yard line, and they're saying an invalid signal was given at the 20-yard line. So for Boise State, the special teams fiascos continue. Keep an eye on the 20-yard line. And that's what you have, a Boise State player running down the field on the left-hand side. He's waving his hand because they were going to fake the throw across the field.
And he's calling for the ball. He's not signaling for a fair catch signal.
And they were going to fake the throw. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
He was a decoy.
Try to get the kickoff team to flow that direction and hopefully open up a hole to the front side to get a big return. I think they missed that one on that. That's a terrible call. It's very devastating to be backed up on your own 3-yard line with no room.
And it goes back to the common sense. He's running down the field looking at the end zone, waving his hand. Kick is on the other side of the field. Either way, rules are rules. And so Boise State, instead of getting the ball at the 22-yard line, will now take it at the 3-yard line.
And there's nothing that you can do about it. You have to dig yourself out of this hole. The Boise State Broncos have to go 98 yards and score a touchdown to stay in this game.
Here's Madsen trying to buy some breathing room off the hands of McAllister. Now we've seen a couple of passes slip out of his hands.
A loss of focus tonight on some of these potential receptions for McAllister. You can see it. He's normally very sure-handed. And I think that Madsen has to take some of the heat off of that ball as well. Came in very hot.
McAllister, 7 catches, 75 yards on 14 targets, so they've gone to him often. 2nd and 10. Madsen out of his own end zone. Has to fire it quickly. They try to go to McAllister once again, and 2 defenders in the area.
Azillian Hamilton has played a phenomenal game tonight, covering Eric McAllister, who's one of the top receivers in the nation. And you see it there, not much safety help. He didn't panic with the ball in the air. He stayed top shoulder. Great job tonight from a young corner in Azillian Hamilton, stepping up and taking a tough matchup.
3rd and 10, and this is the loudest this crowd has been in the second half. You see Boise State 8 of 15. The tough sledding coming out of their own end zone. Trips to the field side for the Broncos. Madsen, pressure coming, gets it off, but it's going to be short. Billy Bowens making the catch. All that does is just buy a little bit of breathing room on this punt.
And again, Azillian Hamilton matched up man-to-man in coverage, making the immediate tackle. And you see it again. They brought the blitz from the defense's right side. They didn't show it pre-snap, and they almost got there. Made Madsen hurry his throw just a bit.
2 returners back for Fresno State. Eric Brooks and Jalen Gill. And has to avoid the punt. Saw the rush coming. A low kick somehow rolls in to Fresno State territory. So that was almost another disastrous special teams play. Ferguson Reynolds, the pump fake on the punt. Look at this one more time. Avoids the block. Somehow gets it off. And so Boise State staying afloat. Fresno State leads by 10. It'll be their ball here with 8:52 left in the 4th quarter. But let's go ahead and revisit our keys of the game here, Dante.
Yes, for Boise State, it was protect the quarterback. Only 2 sacks allowed. They only average 1 per game. I think that's okay, and don't give up the big play. They haven't really been bad with giving up the big play. For Fresno State, it was 50 combined runs and completions. They're at 44. 6 more, 92% win percentage. And then create 3 turnovers. They have 2. There's been a number of them that should have been intercepted. They just need 1 more to accomplish that goal.
So the handoff to Sherrod. Nice carry on first down, and we heard from Mike DeFee, who's in charge of the officials here for the Mountain West, and said you can't wave. As soon as you do, that's a dead ball on a kickoff. So something to keep in mind on that. The play that we saw there that whistled the return, they reviewed it. Boise State brought the ball back to the 3-yard line. You can't wave on a kickoff return, and so you learn something new watching these games. 1st and 10. They go to Sherrod again, this time bottled up. Zion Washington coming down from that safety position to help with the tackle and brings up 2nd down.
Zion Washington is a very aggressive safety. Did a good job of reading the tight end pull and fitting on the inside shoulder in the gap. They're going to need a quick 3 and out here to get the ball back for their offense to stay in contention to have a chance to win this game.
Fresno State leading by 2 scores, under 8 minutes left in this ball game. 2nd and 11. It's Moss, the motion man. Keene fires it. Moss, the completion.
It's a great job from Keene, putting the ball where only his guy can get it, and then Moss getting his hands under the football, not allowing it to hit the turf. Great job of concentration there.
And Jalen Moss was a midseason freshman All-American watch list from the Football Writers of America. It just speaks volumes of what he's done. 41 catches, 489 yards, and 4 touchdowns coming into this game. But 3rd and 7 now for Fresno State to try to keep this drive going. Here's Keene going deep down the field over the outstretched arms of Josiah Freeman, and he is in pain down on the sideline.
They took a shot to Josiah Freeman, and we've seen him make numerous catches, nearly a one-hand catch in the end zone. And this here, he attempted to catch it with one hand.
Timeout on the field.
When you go up, it's very hard to brace yourself in the elbow there. You see him grab his right arm, elbow. Just hope that he's okay, because he had a phenomenal game.
He's walking back towards the benches. He went down right in front of the Fresno State sideline, and now he's sitting down getting tended to. So it's 4th and 7. And Carson King will try to pin Boise State deep in their own territory. Penry to return. That kick will sail out of bounds, hits the cameraman. It didn't even flinch, by the way. So credit to our cameraman standing in the pocket, taking the pressure. So the errant punt. And as we take one more look, typically, I don't know about you, Dante, but when I'm on the golf course, I'm yelling 4 at this point. Here's our cameraman. One more look from his angle. Not even phased. Not even phased. Way to stand there, take a hit. Staying up late on a Saturday night for football as Fresno State leads by 10. Time now for our Old Trapper player of the game. Dante, your former DB. Who do you give it to?
We'll give it to number 3, Azilian Hamilton. He did a great job of taking the hard coverage all day on Eric McAllister, who had 7 catches for 160 yards last week versus Wyoming. The early interception off of Taylor Green, and then the near interception right there on Maddox. I think that he is a big part as to why this Fresno State defense performed well all night long.
For McAllister, 16 targets, just 7 catches on the evening. So Hamilton locking things up tonight. The handoff to Helani. It's been a while since we've seen a handoff to Helani on first down for Boise State.
It has, and they totally got away from their running game. And they went to a little bit of a pass-happy, up-tempo offense to get into the red zone into the red zone. The last time they scored a touchdown. I think it's starting to be a little too late for Helani to get involved and continue to run it.
Yeah, under 6.5 minutes left. They go to the air. The pass to McAllister. The catch, the run, and the first down as the chains move. Both teams 3-1 in the Mountain West, trying to get a leg up as they try to seek another berth in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Fresno State beat Boise State in that championship game last year. Here's Madsen, and the catch is hauled in. Chase Penry sliding into home and making the catch.
That's a great route and a great throw. As soon as Henry cleared Maurice Norris, Madsen drilled the ball behind him. Great throw.
1st and 10 from the 49. Madsen tucks it, runs it. Madsen getting out of bounds. Picks up the first down, though. Let's take a look at that catch one more time, though.
Yeah, that was, you see it. He caught it with the pinkies there. You can either catch it with the index or you can catch it with the pinkies. Great job of Pendry catching that ball and getting down and picking up the first down.
First catch of the game for Pinky Penry, and it's 1st and 10. Madsen launching it, and who else but Hamilton on the coverage.
Hamilton on the coverage, one-on-one with Eric McAllister. There's not too many corners that can stay on top of these type of routes. 6'4". It doesn't really look like McAllister was running too hard there, but just the threat and just giving up 6 inches can make it difficult for any corner.
And sometimes for McAllister, you're that backside option. You're not getting that ball thrown in practice until you pop open in the game sometime. So Boise State needs 2 scores. 2nd and 10. Madsen again off target in this secondary for Fresno State. They have been active and busy.
And they're doing a good job with their pre-snap looks. They're showing a single high man coverage. Upon the snap of the ball, they're rotating with 2 safeties back deep. They're confusing Madsen in the pocket. And it makes it a lot easier when you have pressure up front, when you can disguise and you make the quarterback try to read it on the run. It makes it easier for the secondary to compete.
3rd and 10, they're right at field goal range, Boise State is, so they have that option if they don't pick it up here. Madsen, Penry, and Penry gets the first down and is able to move the chains. So Penry coming up clutch here on this drive.
And great job of tight roping the sideline. Great throw from Madsen. Give him the ball so he can put it away and get yards after the catch. Pendry has really come up big here on this drive.
Under 5 minutes left in the game. Madsen steps up, avoids the tackle. Madsen weaving through traffic, and Madsen somehow finds the end zone. Wow, what a run. Maddox Madsen right through the heart of the Fresno State defense, and Boise State trails by 4 with 4:40 left.
Talking with Fresno State's defensive coordinator Kevin Coyle, he said, we have to keep these quarterbacks in the pocket. Madsen is not just some stiff back there. He will take off and do it with his legs. He made multiple defenders miss there, getting his team into the end zone.
You felt the hush in the crowd as soon as he crossed that goal line, because 4:40 left. There's a lot of football still to be played.
And you see how they're entirely too wide. You see Devo Bridges is in the outside B gap. The middle of the defense is just wide open. And I like that Madsen he was decisive. He took off. He made guys miss. There's a lot of defenders running very reckless. And that's all it takes right there to get into the end zone. It's a 1-score game here.
It's the 2nd rushing touchdown of the season for the Mad Dog, they call him. And the reigning freshman player of the week in the Mountain West has got Boise State within 3. And Dante, it's worth mentioning again, this is a Boise State team that has been haunted by one play in some of their losses. They gave up the 95-yard kickoff return touchdown as time expired in the first half.
They've had a lot of bad luck this year in one-score games, and they're hoping that tonight it kind of turns their direction. So you have a big play here. You have 2 timeouts. It's all up to your defense. Can your defense go on the field and make this Bulldog team go 3 and out to get the ball back for your offense, it's going to be critical here to trying to pull out the victory.
Gill will take a knee. So both these teams very familiar with one-score games. Let's take a look at some of these close calls. Boise State losing at home on a last-second field goal to UCF. They get the 3-point victory over San Diego State, the 3-point loss at Memphis. That was the blocked field goal return for the touchdown. 8-point victory over San Jose State. And, of course, Colorado State, the Hail Mary. For Fresno State, 4-1 in these one-score games. They are very comfortable. The guy you want to keep an eye on, Lavelle Bailey, 3 closing plays this season to wrap up these games.
And Lavelle Bailey is always somewhere around the football. You have to know where he is.
Keene, the pitch to Sherrod. Sherrod trying to get to the outside. Well defended. Andrew Simpson, the first one in on the tackle.
I like that Sherrod did not continue to go wide with the football, and he put his foot in the ground and kept it on the inside so that you don't get pushed out of bounds and stop the clock. Great job of making that decision, but also a great job of picking up 4 yards on first down.
Yeah, Fresno State would love to get 4 yards on any run on first down. And so now 2nd and 6 gives them plenty of options in the playbook.
And they're going to milk the clock. They're going to get it all the way down to 2 seconds before they snap it.
Keene. Letting that play clock wind down. They pitch it to Sherrod again. Makes a cut, sticks his foot in the ground, and dives forward for the first down. So Boise State, you've got these 2 timeouts in your pocket. When do you start thinking about using them?
I think it's a little too early right now, being that with 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter, you'll get that. You'll get the you pick up a first down and you can get the clock to stop. So I think that, you know, somewhere you have to get up and play man coverage and bring pressure to force this Fresno State offense into some type of turnover.
They've ran 2 plays and they've already burnt a minute off the clock on this drive. And so they will let the play clock wind all the way down and use a timeout. So some masterful clock management by Fresno State right now.
Fresno State, 30 seconds.
Well, coming up next, catch a breakdown of the day's action as our studio team highlights key plays and make their postseason predictions on Inside College Football right here on CBS Sports Network. Late night in New York tonight when you got all this action taking place out west here at night. And these November games are always so important, and we saw that today. The landscape of college football, a lot of top 25 matchups and some surprising upsets too.
And we like to call this Saturday Separation Saturday. It's starting to get into that time of November where teams start to separate in conference.
So 1st and 10, Fresno State with 1 timeout. Malik Sherrod has been terrific tonight, 78 yards. He'll take the carry again. He is brought down by Sheldon Newton, but the clock continues to tick. And Boise calling the first of their 2 remaining timeouts. So we were just talking about crazy November and Separation Saturday. Well, checking out the top 10. Ohio State, that was a little bit of a close one against Rutgers, but you guys got the win. Georgia, what a game against Missouri. Michigan getting the win over Purdue. But how about Alabama knocking off LSU and Oklahoma, number 9, losing to Oklahoma State?
I don't think you can ever count out Alabama with the type of talent that they have. Nick Saban and that coaching staff, you can never count them out. I think Washington over USC was a huge one. And then it's always going to come down to Ohio State versus Michigan in a couple weeks as to who's going to go to the college football Final Four. And, you know, just some tremendous teams up there, some undefeateds. Hopefully my Buckeyes go all the way.
My Ducks have a chance still, knocking on the outside, I will say that. 2nd and 7, clock is stopped now. Fresno State, they've gone to the ground, and it's been Sherrod so far on this drive. Keene, play action, has to just bail out of it quickly. And that is a big-time stop for Boise State on that down. It was Hassanin in quickly in on the pressure.
And he was coming. He was unblocked. And he didn't go for the play action fake. They were trying to go RPO, hoping that Hassan would follow Sherrod. Does a good job of beelining to Mikey Key, who wasn't able to step into the throw and took another hard hit there. And the biggest thing is the clock stops.
If you're Boise State, you couldn't have asked for a better second down defensive play. 3rd and 7, Fresno State. They'll go to the air to try to keep the chains moving, and the pass is caught. Jalen Gill, a clutch reception for the first down.
And they called that play, that route concept, a dagger. And I think that we can call that a dagger. First down, Mikey Keene fighting through the pain, a shoulder, a knee, an ankle. But in these rivalry games, it really doesn't matter. You're going to get everything out of Mikey Keene, and hopefully he's okay. He didn't look, the throw looked great. He's a tough guy.
But that first down changes everything. Boise State now only has one timeout, 2:24 left on the clock here. And the first down gives them a lot of options as far as what they want to do here.
Yes, and another first down pretty much ends this game. I would think that Sherrod would get 2 to 3 touches here with his ability to make guys miss, how strong and powerful he's been running all night. But you, by no means do you throw the football. You have to keep the ball on the ground.
I was just going to ask you, how aggressive are you if you're Fresno State, knowing that Boise State doesn't have any more timeouts and you've been running the ball so well?
I don't think you have to be aggressive. I don't think you take the risk. I think you keep the ball on the ground. The backs keep 2 arms on the ball.
They go to Sherrod, and he is quickly stopped. Simpson in on the tackle, but that clock will continue to tick, and you can bet that Fresno State will use every second of it.
And the Broncos sold out on that. They pretty much went to an all-out blitz, and Simpson again in the backfield playing downhill. I think that's his 4th TFL on the night. But it's not much that the Broncos can do. You can play good run defense on 2nd down here, 3rd down, and you'll probably get the ball back with about 50 seconds left on the clock with 0 timeouts.
2nd and 11, play clock at 4. Sherrod again. Sherrod picks up the first down, and Sherrod wants to put a lid on this game, and the exclamation point from Malik Sherrod as Fresno State distances themselves even more. Now the question comes, should he have just gone down at the 1, and they could have taken a knee to end this game?
That's a good question. But all I know is he was shot out of a cannon. All night long, Sherrod has stepped up when they've needed him. I think he probably, in a perfect world, in a coach's world, you say, okay, go down, take a knee at the 1. We'll get into victory formation. We're out of here with the win. But tonight, what Sherrod is doing, I say it's okay, young man. Just run through the end zone and cap off your big night.
I know you gave player of the game to A.Z. Hamilton, but I think after this, Malik Sherrod, Andy Avalos said, we have taken some body blows, but it is Sherrod with the knockout punch. 52 yards to the house. His 2nd touchdown of the game. He has now ran for a career-high 132 yards tonight on 21 carries.
And Sherrod is doing what Sherrod does. Earlier this year, he had a 72-yard touchdown run versus Nevada. We saw him tonight with the big kickoff return touchdown, and then that one to seal the game. It really didn't look like there was much of a hole there. He made something out of nothing, and he brought it home tonight.
So Boise State down 10. You can always score and get the onside kick, so they technically have some control over their destiny in this game. But if he takes the knee, Boise State doesn't even touch the ball, and this game is over by now.
And when you look at the look on Coach Avalos' face, he's tremendously disappointed. There's been multiple big plays that they gave up on defense and special teams, and he spoke about that specifically. The special teams plays and how it would be the difference in the game, and ultimately it was tonight.
Here's the squib kick. This time it is defended as Dudley gets tripped up. That is the other 22 that is just giving fits. That number might be seen in the dreams of Boise State here tonight, because you've had Malik Sherrod, number 22, score 2 touchdowns. And then the tackle there made by Stephen Comstock. And now Boise State has got to make up a lot of ground here.
They do, and they have to work the sidelines or the middle of the field. They just have to get up and get the ball snapped quickly, because the clock will stop. But you have to work the sidelines, and you have to have a high level of sense of urgency.
Madsen out to Helani, who lowers his shoulder, takes the blow, and gets out of bounds.
Did a good job of lowering his shoulder on Carlton Johnson there and getting out of bounds. Great strong catch from Helani.
So Boise State still trailing by 10. Their kicker, Jonah Dalmas, has connected from 56 yards out. So they don't have to make up much ground to get into field goal range. Here's Madsen, and deep down the field across the middle, Billy Bowens making the catch. And in 2 plays, Boise State already in Fresno territory.
2 big chunk plays.
Madsen again going to the sideline, overthrows McAllister. Brings up 2nd and 10.
And both of these corners have done a good job on McAllister tonight. Carlton Johnson on the right side. Azilian Hamilton down here on the left side. And you don't really want to waste too much time. If you get into field goal range, I would say kick the field goal, do the onside kick, and hope to recover it.
2nd and 10. Madsen will tuck it and run, but he is tackled, and now they will lose time. They have to scramble to the line of scrimmage as Devo Bridges drug him down.
And I don't like that play call.
3rd and 7, just over a minute left. Madsen hits the check down. It is Helani who is tackled. And that brings up 4th down, and the field goal unit has to sprint out. They can't spike it. So precious time coming off this clock. It looks like it'll be a 52-yard attempt here for Jonah Dalmas from the right hash. 40 seconds. Clock still going. Dalmas sneaks it in, and so Boise State will have 31 seconds for an onside kick and then a shot at the end zone here.
And they have life. That's all you want. To get into field goal range, get a score on the board, and have an opportunity to kick an onside kick. You never know what can happen. Great job of execution there. Getting the field goal unit out there, getting lined up, and kicking it through the uprights.
So Fresno State will bring the hands team out. Boise State will go with their onside kick. It'll be Dalmas kicking off in this situation. And you've been in these situations before. What's important if you're Fresno State here and you're trying to just close this game out?
Well, the front line is very important. You have to step up and get blocks for the guys that are the second wave that have to go and attack the football. And I was in a situation like this before for the Buffalo Bills. I was on the second line wave, and we were playing the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. They kicked the onside kick, and I immediately catch cramps to where the Dallas players were running past me. They recovered it, and they end up tying the game and winning.
Here's the kick, and that is just gobbled up. Trey Watson waves bye-bye to the Boise State fans as he made that look as clean as he possibly could.
And he did a great job of having no fear and going and attacking the football. There's so many players on that front line will wait for that ball to come to him. It takes a bad bounce, and then next thing you know, the opposition recovers. A great job of Trey Watson attacking it and finishing the game.
All that's left is victory formation for Fresno State. They will improve to 8-1 for Boise State, a team that has had 25 straight winning seasons. They've only had 3 seasons in which they've lost 5 games or more during that 25-year stretch. They will fall to 4-5. And the milk can will exchange hands and go to Fresno State as they take the knee and they are sprinting for the jug. And in this situation, milk was a good idea.
What kind of milk are they going to put in there?
You got to go for the whole milk. Got to go for the whole milk. No, whole milk.
Oat milk. I like almond milk.
My health-conscious colleague calling out the fact that this Fresno State defense came up huge, especially the secondary. I think that's the story of this one. Defensively for Fresno State. Offensively, Malik Sherrod exploding for 132 yards, including that game-breaking touchdown as Fresno State knocks off Boise State, improves to 8-1, and let's check out the updated Mountain West Conference standings. Fresno State now tied with UNLV. They actually have the tiebreaker because they beat them. They control their own destiny and their path to the Mountain West Conference championship game.
And we figured that either one of these teams that won tonight would take that driver's seat to get into the Mountain West championship game. And whoever it is going to have their hands full with Air Force. Great defense, running game. But for right now, Fresno State is second in a division, and they control their own destiny.
And just the balanced effort. Again, it was the turnovers. They've had the nation's second-best turnover margin, plus 11 coming into this game. They forced 2. They now improved to plus 12 on the season. But for a team that throws the ball so much, it was almost poetic, the fact that they went to the ground to close this game out. So Brandon is now down with a couple of the victorious Fresno State players. Brandon.
Yeah, Jordan here with Malik Sherrod and also Mikey Key. But Malik, I'll start with you. Coaches used to say, go make a play. You made 2. Take me back 7 seconds, that kickoff to end the half.
You know, they kicked the ball short. We knew they would probably play chicken ball. So we just let the return play out, and I made a play.
Big part of that offense. And take me back to that second play as well. What did you see there?
You know, my linemen, they did a great job of opening up to the hole, and I finished it.
What does it say about this team to win an atmosphere like this, a must-win almost in this conference, to win this type of rivalry here?
You know, every game is a must-win game if we want to get to our goals. So we're fortunate enough to get this win, and we got to look forward on next week.
Mikey, it doesn't matter what receiver you have. It just seems like it's always working for you. What does that say about your group and being able to train each week?
Yeah, it's a testament to their work in the offseason and our work, getting our timing in and things of that sort. But it's an excellent group. It starts up front with those guys up front. They kept me clean tonight. They did a great job. And then our run game being explosive tonight. I told Malik before the game we were going to be up with about 4 minutes left, and he was going to have to finish it, and that's exactly what he did. So proud of that guy, proud of our guys tonight.
You guys are now 4-1, tied at the top, looking up at Air Force. What does that mean to you, and how long we enjoy that, getting closer to maybe that birth of a championship?
Right, November, no doubt, is championship football. So we're going to keep doing us, take it day by day, week by week. We're going to watch the film. Obviously, there's going to be some things to correct and get ready for next week, but we're going to take it week by week and just worry about 1 week at a time.
All right, enjoy the win.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Shout out to 805, man.
Thank you, Brandon. So Fresno State getting a 37-30 victory for Dante Whitner, Brandon Baylor, and our entire crew. I'm Jordan Kent. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Now let's send it to the New York studio for Inside College Football. We say good night from Fresno.